Just over 10 years ago, Brad and I kept finding ourselves at the Old Fountain in Old Street, London, ordering pints of Oakham Citra and a burger on a Friday. We didn't know much about beer, only what a few YouTube reviewers and bloggers had told us, but we started plotting the idea of a YouTube channel using our then boss's equipment. Our boss was Jamie Oliver, so he had quite a lot of it. Originally, another guy called Jim was involved, but he didn't last long, while Brad remained resolutely behind the camera and I fronted it. Our earlier videos weren't terribly good. In fact, they were awful. We were self-taught at everything: filming, presenting, editing, brewing. But when did the lack of talent and knowledge stop anyone succeeding on YouTube?
I don't know what I'm saying here.
Over time, we found a voice, irreverent, distractible, adventure-based, but backed by pretty hard research.
Willkommen nach das Craftbeer Channel.
Das ist Oktoberfest!
Na genug.
Wer genug!
And we found an audience, passionate, patient, knowledgeable and thirsty, and things began to click. We started to travel the world, make long-form documentaries that got to the heart of why we'd come to love beer so much, and then we wrote books about our discoveries, and even started winning a few awards. Finally, in 2018, we took the channel full-time, turning a hobby into a career, and we owe it all to the people who watch our content, who are watching tonight, and who came to our 10th birthday last weekend. It's fair to say you've changed our lives, sending us on an entirely unexpected and wonderful journey. There isn't really a way to process that or to say thanks to you all properly, but we're going to say it now and hope that it echoes for as long as we have this amazing job. Thank you! Welcome to the 10th birthday live show of the Craft Beer Channel. Brad and I are incredibly excited, in fact so excited that we've somehow switched spaces compared to where I had us earlier in the little practice run. So I'm now on the right and I'm a bit confused about that.
That is confusing.
But I'm usually right.
What about if you hit it again? Does it do anything? Oh,
I think I can move us now, I think. Whoa! Hey.
That's fun. It's like
there we go. Normality is restored. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very excited for tonight. We're going to be drinking 6 incredible beers, which we had a variable hand in brewing, either just sort of agreeing the style and the ingredients, right through to literally editing the brew sheet and doing the brewing. We'll be telling you all of the inside stories of that, plus any other stories you want us to tell, and indeed, hopefully, listening to your story. So we're really keen tonight that we hear from you at home on some of your favorite topics. We'd love to hear about your favorite beer memories. I was going to say like your favorite beer memories of the last 10 years, but let's be honest, it's with most people, it's going to be your favorite beer memories anyway. Your favorite CBC memory, because we've told you all about that in our videos, but we haven't really heard yours. So tell us that, or anything else you want to tell us. We know that the comments usually get pretty lit towards the end, so I'm looking forward to what comes out. What we've got to do, we've got to do the usual rules, right? Drinking order tonight. We're drinking Zoltar, the Golden Ale. We're drinking the Fest beer. Then we're drinking a West Coast IPA. Then a sour. Then we're drinking another West Coast IPA, which was supposed to be a pale ale. And then we're getting on to the big New Englander at the end. If you are not drinking said beers, if you didn't get the taste along pack, let us know what you're drinking instead. We'd love to hear from you and what you're drinking, and indeed what snacks you're matching it with. What snacks have you got, Bradders?
Well, seeing as we got the lovely Tony Chocoloni to send us loads of lovely chocolate to our beer festival, I've got some Tony Chocoloni. I've also got some Love Corn Johnny, who also very kindly sent us. Whoa, look at that. It's almost like we had some of it left over.
I've got a secret Brucey bonus, which I'll be unveiling around about the point where we drink the beak beer.
I've seen your meat-based snack.
Okay.
That sounds
Okay,
really nice.
I thought that was going to go even worse than it did. Right, we'll dig into the comments in a second and get the first beer open. But before we do, some quick house rules. Be nice, be lovely to us and to other folk. We will be supporting this live show, of course, with Super Chat, which means that you will try and get to all of the comments, all of the questions. But if you want your question answered right away and you want to throw us a little bit of money for doing what we do, please do use Super Chats. There's a button at the top of the comments, or is it at the bottom of the comments? Near the comments, where you could just put a little bit of cash in there and we'll answer your question at the very next opportunity that we have. Or you can just say thanks. You don't even need a question. Or just a comment, an insult. We'll take the insult if there's money involved. What else should we do? We should say you can join our Discord forum. There will be chats going on in the Discord all of tonight, I'm sure, amongst our patrons. And you can join for £2 a month. Just go to patreon.com/craftbeerchannel. And also, you'll notice that Brad and I are sporting some merchandise, and we'll be drinking from some merchandise. You can buy all of that at our new merch store, hosted by the wonderful Malt Miller. Just head to Tony URL. There you go. Tony got another plug. Tiny URL. Oh my God. tinyurl.com/CBC merchandise.
And you were telling me, Johnny, somebody else has already got CBC merch. And that's
somebody's already got CBC merch.
Cardboard Cave podcast?
Cardboard Cave Project.
Fuck you, Cardboard Cave Project. You stole our tiny URL link. No, don't fuck you. We're nice people. But
Brad, I'm picking up a bit of my voice coming through your speaker.
Oh dear. Really? I'm not getting any
Have you got echo turned off?
Echo cancellation is on.
Oh, okay. Well, then people are just going to have to live with it. I just turned a comment on as well. Let's dig into the comments then. We'll start with Henry RP Mushing. Drinking my own brew, I presume. IPA hop with Nelson Sauvin and Rawaka. Sounds awesome. Absolutely awesome. I hope it's as delicious as it sounds. Where else are we going? Mr. Rougelot is drinking Rochefort 6. Are you going to be working your way up the Rochefort ladder, or are you peaking at 6? I paused as if there was going to be an answer. He'll have to send a comment.
It's going to take a little while to write that. I'm going to crack a beer, Johnny, because I haven't cracked one yet. So
right, yeah. Oh, sorry, I should crack the correct beer. Yeah, we'll go through the comments once the beer's in the glass. We'll come back to you, Andy. Tell us about the glassware, Bradley, while we do this pour.
Yeah, so we've got. This sounds like we're just sort of pitching merch, but we've got our classic glassware, which everyone knows and loves. We used to have lots of comments when we ran out saying, "Get some more classic glassware," and then, as you'll see, Johnny is pouring into the aircraft manual style beer school glass, visually guided glassware for the successful operation and enjoyment of any beer style, Johnny. This took a long time to perfect. Years in the making. Yeah, years. I mean, the genesis, the sort of little nugget of an idea has been in my head for a long time. And we talked it through endlessly. I'm filling this up ambitiously, but I kind of want to get our faces all covered in beer. Mine looks a bit dark, but that's just because I've got a very moody kind of lighting situation.
There you go. There we are in all our glory. Oh my God. Hashtag DGM. I'll rinse that and everything. There we go. You never know. Go on, focus. Ignore my face. It's a terrible face. There we go. So, yeah, this glassware is available on our merch store. It tells you what temperature to drink your beer. It tells you how to pour your beer. And then with our glorious faces, it tells you how to drink it as well, just in case you've forgotten. Anyway, plug over for now. Let's dig into these comments. We'll let some people get their faces into the beer. So we sold 100 packs. So there's 100 people out there tasting this beer right now with us. And we'd love to hear your thoughts on it as we go through. Where were we? So, yeah, sad times for Andy, who was he's on night, so he's drinking coffee and eating cheese and onion crisps. But it's going to be okay. Bless you, whatever you're doing.
Coffee go with cheese and onion crisps? That sounds like a weird combo to me.
I guess do what you No judgment.
Just don't go for a kiss, Andy, because those are two powerful, intoxicating dragon breath kind of things you got working on there.
Chris Hughes is going for it. Crikey. All the collabs plus some West Coasters. Salted Catalan almonds, winner for the middle class snack of the show.
Are they? Where are they from? That sounds like an M&S type thing to me.
Hickory smoked almonds, cashews, and peanuts.
No, the Catalan smoked.
Ah, right.
Sounds
Yeah,
like
possibly.
vibes.
Callum's got all 6 Oktoberfest beers. Sterling effort. Not easy to do to get all 6.
That's a roast dinner on a Saturday. That's good. I like that.
Okay, I was gonna say Brad's full of judgment for people's consumption, but no, he's into this one.
Well, I mean, as some of our Discord members will have seen, my breakfast today was a vegan corn dog and a Fritz cola from Germany that I ate in like a sort of, well, it's not really heavy metal, but it's kind of like an alternative coffee shop in Deptford called the Waiting Room. Very good. Excellent playlist, Johnny. As was our playlist. That was excellent too.
Got the party going. You couldn't hear in that video, the intro video we did, you could see when we had that big crowd going, it was
Jump Around?
Run DMC, I think, was playing.
I thought it was Jump Around, no?
Oh yeah, you're right. It's Jump Around. It's Jump Around. It was. Got some pork scratchings on the go. Yes, you have opened the correct beer, Paul. We are drinking Zoltan. We're about to talk about it.
It's actually Zoltar.
Yeah.
Sorry, just to correct you there.
Did I say Zoltan?
It says Zoltan on the screen. Isn't Zoltan what's his name? Ben Stiller? No, not Ben Stiller. What's the other guy? There's like Don't Mess with the Zoltan or something, and he's like an Israeli hairdresser or something. Am I going mad? Does anyone know this film? Is it not Ben Stiller? It's the other one. He does the silly voices, Happy Gilmore guy. He's actually a great actor.
Oh, Sandler.
Yeah, Sandler. I'm pretty sure it's Sandler. Or maybe they're interchangeable in my head.
Somebody in the comments, someone in the comments will know.
Zohan.
Don't mess with the Zohan. There we go. Come on, you're
That's
being
one.
Everybody knows it. Was it a good film?
I can't say I haven't watched it the whole way through because I found it a bit painful. But yeah.
From Brindisa. Yes, great place. Right, yeah. We've got it. It's Zohan. Right, okay. So let's talk about this beer. So this is from the lovely Elusive Brew. Andy is the David Grohl of brewing, and everybody calls him the nicest man in beer. He's a genuinely fantastic and lovely human, and he brews fantastic beer. And also, whenever we come to him with a madcap idea or a really silly idea that is not going to sell very well, he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." So that's what happened here. So we really wanted a British hopped beer. We were hoping to have 2. We ended up with 1 out of the 10, and Andy went all in. I suggested Mystic because when we did the rubbing of British hops for our documentary, The Time Is Now, Mystic smelled amazing on that table. Oh, hello.
Oh,
good Lord. What's happened there?
Your cameraman, their arms have fallen off. What's happened?
I've got to get a tripod rather than paying my neighbour.
Normally it's me, and my arms get shaky before I drop the camera.
Wait.
Have you,
whoever
your cameraman is, you not fed him enough love corn?
Yeah, they were just all on. They were on a sugary high of Tony's rather than
they just crashed.
Yeah. Whew, dramatic. What was I going to say? Yes. So yeah, we were brewing with Elusive, and I suggested Mystic, which we rubbed for our Now IPA. I don't remember getting so much blackcurrant on the table when we were rubbing it for Now IPA, but it is all blackcurrant on the nose for me. I'd love to hear what other people think they're getting. It's blackcurrant and honey and raspberry or something a bit.
I'm now unable to stop eating love corn, Johnny. It's become a bit of a problem to the point where I'm not focusing on the beer.
Focus on the beer. Tell me what aroma you're getting.
I mean, there's loads.
And also tell the good folk at home we're not sponsored by Love Corn.
Sadly not yet. We're working on it, Johnny. We're going to be coming out in some sort of like Formula One style jumpsuits next with just Love Corn and Tony's Chocolonely, Utoka, all the different team sponsors all over us. That's what we're gonna hopefully be able to pay our mortgages with kind of non-beer related sponsorship. That would be a dream, wouldn't it? But it's got loads of current sort of stuff going on. Raspberries for sure, big time. It's like
Andy says he's getting plastic. I'm not aware of any plasticky aroma.
Maybe like a plastic that's sort of been fragranced with delicious raspberries. You get rubbers and all sorts of things, don't you, that have got kind of smells.
Oh, right, yeah, like for kids. Yeah.
Not like is it a condom? I didn't mean that kind of rubber. I meant like.
I don't think anybody heard that. Well, I certainly didn't.
Oh, right. I
don't think anybody calls it a rubber anymore.
No, maybe in America. Americans, they call it rubber.
I don't know. I think now that they're a bit thinner, it's never mind. Anywho, pure jammy loveliness, says Martin. Who else is Zoltan is the Hound of Dracula.
Oh, Zoltan is the Hound of Dracula.
Dracula had hounds? I don't remember that in the book.
Yeah, hellhounds, no? I think they're the hellhounds.
I don't in the book I don't think they were dogs. He has his weird ghost women harpy things. I don't remember dogs.
Hellhounds, no? I think they were the hellhounds. I'm just going to keep saying hellhounds, Johnny.
Just keep saying hellhounds until it becomes true. I say, don't think in the book there are any dogs.
No.
Dog Sam brewed a couple of summer ales with Mystic and Harlequin a couple of times recently. Wonder how Mystic. I think Mystic and a porter would be fantastic. That was my immediate thought when I got the aroma on it the first time. I was like, that'd be great in a dark beer. Not something really roasty, but like a really fruity porter would be really, really good. Here we go. We're getting loads of British hop love. Wet hop pale ale using Ernest and EKG hops picked from Hewkins. Nice. Love Hewkins Hop Farm. They make fantastic hops. I brewed with Ernest. Brewed like a springtime sort of golden ale, pale ale with Ernest. It's kind of elderflowery and gorgeousness.
Do you remember the Ernest movies as a kid, Johnny? Or are you too young? He was like a sort of a rubber-faced American odd job man sort of guy that would just get in all kinds of problems, and he'd have to just sort of try and get out of it. He's very rubber-faced in a sort of Jim Carrey way, possibly before Jim Carrey was a thing. And he was just a weird guy. I seem to remember a Halloween Ernie film. I'm sure he was called Ernest, as we're talking about Ernest. Anyway, should we talk about
Some Mothers Do Have Them guy?
No, not that guy.
Can't remember what his name was.
No. Should we talk about memories and like things that we've done that we've liked along the way?
That's the broad plan.
That's the one.
Ernest Rides Again.
Yeah.
Okay, that
very much a rubber-faced man.
Never heard of it.
I remember like being a kid and being like really into it for a while. I thought it was like super cool. People pulling their faces around, it's pretty fun.
This is going to be something I will forget about and then look up while drunk in a couple of nights' time. Right. Dracula's Dog, horror film from the late 70s, 1 out of 5 on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oof. It's called Dracula's Dog. That's a terrible name for a film.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got hound as a potential go-to word, why would you? Well, I guess it alliterates, but it's dog's not a scary name.
Dracula's Dog. That's such a shitty name, man.
We've been so sidetracked. Right, so some others do have them with Frank Spencer.
Sorry, that's one. Ooh, Betty and all of that. There's a classic clip where he's on roller skates and he's like doing some mad shit on roller skates, that guy. I think he's getting pulled behind a car. It's pretty cool. I remember it from being young and watching it being like, whoa, that's super dangerous.
I have no memory of this thing.
Yeah.
Suta Luv asks how long we've been live, which might be an indication of how this is going, Bradley.
Well, we're definitely not drunk yet.
So, in summary, so we had a great day at Elusive and at Siren. We brewed there on the same day. The amount of hops that went into this is insane. I mean, with leaf, it always looks bigger anyway because pellets are a more condensed form of hop. But it was 6 or 7. Six hop additions, I think.
Was it?
And also had a dry hop. So masses and masses and masses of hops went into this, which is why there's a big blackcurrant aroma. And still, I could have done with a little bit more, maybe a little bit more bitterness. And I'd have, in retrospect, put a more estery yeast in. I think backed it up with a bit. I feel that way with a lot of single hop beers, that you lose a bit of complexity sometimes when it's one hop. So I'd have put like a big not juicy, an interesting British ale yeast, because we use USO5 to really let the hop shine, and that worked. But I think going back, I'd get some yeastiness in there.
The going back to sort of memories, Johnny, and things that we've done. The kind of, it almost has a foraged kind of note to it, doesn't it? With the raspberries and such. I really enjoyed our video is called Foraging and Wild Brewing with Yonder. And
wow, I forgot about that video.
We make a nettle beer. Was it nettle?
A nettle pilsner.
Yeah, that was so cool, going up the stew and just foraging, all amazing stuff. Can't remember what the flower was. Was it elderflower or something else? I can't actually remember. That was 4 years ago. I've just checked.
It was just before we went on our New England road trip. It was like a couple of weeks before. So we were foraging nettles and dandelions, I think.
Dandelions, maybe, yeah.
And I went foraging with him again for a year in beer research.
Yeah.
And we did because obviously we were looking for commercial amounts of things. So it was quite focused when you and me went, but he just took me on an adventure. We gathered, actually, the head brewer of Daya was there and they did an elderflower IPA. But elderflower, obviously, once you find the elderflower, it's everywhere. So we gathered a load of elderflower and then just went on a little adventure. We found wild strawberries, which are literally that big.
Little guys, yeah.
Yeah, really, really tiny. There was a delicious thing that looked just like a weed, but it tasted of limes. Wood sorrel, I think it was called. Really beautiful stuff. The world is a plate, but some of it's poisonous on the plate. Anyway, should we have a quick look in the comments? We had Stephen Thompson, I flashed it up, said the homebrew cask episodes were a favorite episode of CBC for me. For me too. And I wish we could do more homebrew, and I wish we could do more cask ale homebrew, and we really intend to, but we just haven't had the time with everything going on at the moment. So we will get back into homebrew and that, doing some British styles, getting the hand pump out. If people want to know what the plans for those oak barrels are, I do want to do a Now IPA version, Now IPA homebrew version, release that video, do 2 batches, and put one into barrel with some Brett and go all out old school English IPA. So that's the plan for those, Bradley. So there is lots of homebrewing ideas, and I've been working on a Pilsner recipe for forever, and still haven't perfected it or indeed found the time to film an 8 or 9 hour brew day. But they will be back. What
would everyone like to see us brew? I think that's an interesting question.
Great question. Hounds of Hell, Zoltan, Hound of Hell. Comedy soldiers accidentally unleash a part vampire servant of Dracula, as well as Zoltan, a vampire dog, during excavations in Romania. Wow.
Oh, wow.
That is a plot.
So it's set in 1977 with communist soldiers. I like it.
Yeah, I guess so. So yeah, no dogs in the original book. I didn't think there were dogs. Will you change the intro if you do use the oak barrels? I thought we changed advert now. The oak barrels still playing at you. I thought we had a new advert live.
That's a good question.
I'll double check that. I'm fairly sure. I'm fairly sure we've moved on to a new ad. Brew some clones.
Ooh, the Clone Wars. Bring back the Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars. I mean, so we have the reach to probably be able to brew a heady topper clone and get hold of some heady and put them next to each other. It's not a bad idea. Clone Wars. George Lucas isn't that litigious, right?
We've talked about the Clone Wars loads of times, Johnny. But
well, only to mock the films, though, right?
Yeah, but Ahsoka is now a big deal on Disney Plus. So she's a character, I believe, from the Clone Wars. What do you call it? Cartoon series? Can you call it a cartoon? Animated series?
I don't know what it is.
I haven't watched them, but I believe she is from the Clone Wars animated TV series. Dave Filoni invented her. He's like the new George Lucas, the mastermind behind lots of Star Wars shit. Yeah.
We're getting lots of suggestions for homebrew, which is great. Spontaneous fermentation is something I'd like to do for sure. Obviously, that's a 3-year project, so we'll see how that one goes. We've done a West Coastie. If you haven't seen it, Paul, if there's another West Coast IPA you'd love to see, West Coast style you'd love us to do, let us know. But we have done an IPA. Good point. We're dealing with Disney now. They probably are pretty.
I know someone who used to work for Vice, and then became she leads a department at Disney now. That's a bit of a jump, isn't it? From Vice magazine to being a Disney executive. Quite impressive.
Yeah, very different approach to content.
You wouldn't think they'd be looking in the same sort of pool of talent, would you? But
no.
She's a very talented person, so yeah.
Callum says pandemic wasn't great. You're not wrong, Callum. But this is 100% true. So that obviously we were stuck at home, so we couldn't go out and make the films that we were making, and we actually scrapped a documentary we were in the midst of booking due to the pandemic. But it got us into homebrew content, and that was a real game changer for us. It brought a lot of people in that maybe hadn't discovered us or weren't interested in what we were doing. So it was that Cask Ale series and the New England IPA series that we did shortly afterwards with Lallemand and Verdant changed YouTube for us in a long way, in a big way, which is why I want to get back to it, because I know that I like to think we're good at combining narrative and homebrew so that even non-homebrewers enjoy it. But it's just such a time commitment. We don't want to half-arse it. A lot of homebrew channels that sort of focus on it the editing is minimal, the story is minimal. It's here's a recipe, here's how I did it. And that's never been the way we've operated, which makes it tough to do.
We've definitely got some pretty interesting homebrew ideas. We talked about recently about resurrecting the portable brewing station to go and do something specific, Johnny. Do you remember?
I remember the conversation. I can't remember what the idea was.
Oh, I don't know if we can say, but can we say? I don't want.
Who's going to steal it? They'd have to build a porter brew first.
It was to do a green hot beer, wet hot beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So literally go to the field and brew where they're picking it.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Would be pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. California Common, that's an out there suggestion. That'd be fun to do, some sort of unusual, quirky, historic styles. So we've done how quick? 36 hours, 37 hours? Did we manage it?
Oh yeah, we were going to try and do a super quick one as well, weren't we? Even quicker, right? Because we'd learned a lot from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, we could have gone quick. If you don't dry hop, we could have done it. I think you could get it down to 24 hours.
Yeah,
I wouldn't necessarily recommend it.
Oh, I'll tell you what, that is one of my highlights is photoshopping your face to look like Kiefer Sutherland in 24.
That was
he just got a very long face. So your face put onto his face looked like a frigging pretzel stick or something. It was super long. Sorry about that. Well,
because I have a weird shaped head. I don't think it looks weird, but I have to wear children's hats.
Yeah, I don't understand that. You must have
not because of the circumference, but clearly the gap between here and my ear is really small. So most hats make my ears do this. In fact, I'll show you. So this was some prototype merch we worked on years and years and years ago.
Oh, what you mean when you just stuck a thing on the front?
Yeah. Well, because I thought because we had this cool design.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we'll just stick it on a hat and see how it looks. And it did kind of work. But anyway, so wow, has my head got smaller since we did this?
You're like the Benjamin Button of the head.
So like this is where the hat goes down to. Just a normal hat. So I don't understand.
I mean, I have got a massive bonce, so I have to like.
You are the opposite, yeah.
Yeah, we have opposite problems in the bonce department.
I can't even fit my glasses on. I have to go there.
You look like a friggin' Pokemon guy, like a little squat who's trying to go out and catch some Pokeballs.
I just thought I looked like a grandpa that's tried his like grandson's
Mr. Magoo.
baseball.
Mr. Magoo.
Hello, is this how you wear a hat? Yeah, so
great.
I don't wear many baseball hats.
No.
What about the hat where you can put 2 cans in? Story about that. My daughter got hold of it.
Oh.
Didn't notice. She just walked outside with it, and clearly walked outside with it, and I didn't see it for a couple of weeks, and then I found it in the hedge, not in good condition. So sadly, the hat with 2 cans in it is now in landfill.
Oh, you've retired it?
Oh,
come on.
Well, you don't know who's peed on that, or like it was kind of not moldy, like mildewy.
That's all right. It's good for your immune system, I reckon. A bit of mildew.
Yeah, maybe. We've just had a comment from Malt Miller, our podcast sponsors, providers of said oak barrels and all of the ingredients we use. The other big thing that happened with our homebrew being successful was we became friends with the Malt Miller. And I'd say that's one of the best things that's happened to the channel in its history. So thank you so much to Rob and Reiki and Jim and the whole team. We love all of you. You are amazing. We've learned so much from you. Thank you for sponsoring the pod and for being very, very excellent humans. And for hosting our web shop, which you can buy our wonderful merchandise from. Ding, 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 ding.
I got my pastry stouts t-shirt on.
Such as that one. Right, should we do beer number 2? Because it's been half an hour, Bradley. We've got to keep this pace going.
Yeah, we need to keep going. Fest beer, because it's festival, yeah?
Fest beer next.
Are you actually going to the cool box to get it? I wish I had a cool box in my front room. Oh, hello. Silly hat time, is it? I'll take your Tyrolean Mountain. Oh, he's got 2 of them. What a show.
I've got 2 of them.
I'll take your Tyrolean Mountain hat and I will raise you a Mexican leather cowboy hat that I bought in British Heart Foundation, I believe. And I paid entirely for.
As always, Brad,
how much
your dress sense is like you're cooler, but you're less relevant.
Yeah. Exactly. Why is this bent in such a weird way? How much do you reckon I paid for this piece of shit hat, Johnny?
Well, if it's in the British Heart Foundation,
you think not very much, right?
£3.
It's got a nice crown up there. This is like a little bit. Can't remember what that one's called. Cattleman crown or something. I paid 25 quid for it, Johnny. I thought it was a charity donation, so I was like, okay. They got it out the window. I don't know if you can see that. I paid bloody 25 quid for that, mate, and I've regretted it ever since because it's totally ridiculous. And this is coming from a man that wears a lot of cowboy hats. I find this one too much. And why is it bent at the front? That's rubbish. Anyway, should we have a beer?
I've already had the other beer. I'm already in.
Come on.
So this is our fest beer. It was the first homebrew. It's actually 2 hot and 2 hats. The first brew that we did, obviously because it's a lager, so it needed to lager to round out. Although lagering times at Lost and Grounded are quite short due to lots of things that they do. So this is a fest beer. I shouldn't say a classic fest beer because it's not a Märzen, which is what the fest beers would have would have mostly, well, no, originally they'd have been brown beer. Johnny, I'm going too deep into history. Would have been a brown beer, then it would have become a Merton, and then it became a Fest beer. So essentially a super Hells. And we used all English malt, all floor malted Czech style Pilsner malt from Warminster, the oldest oldest maltings in the UK, who make beautiful floor malted barley. Brad's just talking about his hat, thinking about his hat.
I'm just sorry. I was just trying to sort the brim out. It was really distracting. Sorry. I'm now 100%.
Are you now? I mean, if you think your brim's a state, look at this one. What even is it?
Yeah, but this is a made in Mexico legit. It's if anyone knows about hats, this is why I bought it. It says 100x. So the higher the X, it normally refers to pelts and beavers and shit, but 100x, I was like, that must mean something good because it's usually 10x or something. So 100x, I was like, that's a lot of X's, Johnny. Super Hells, best superhero ever. I love it.
I agree. Somebody's on their second homebrew. The homebrew in me is so itchy right now. Pilsner with Rakow. I want to do a Motueka Pilsner. I love Motueka. That would have been my second choice for the Verdant beer if they weren't up for Brew 1. I'm drinking from the same glass. Hopefully lots of you are. Brad, you always look so sharp. You have cool style.
Hey,
that hat works for you. Welcome to the Craft Hat channel. That's accurate.
This is maybe my least favorite cowboy hat. I have many cowboy hats,
but not a single Oktoberfest hat.
Not a single Oktoberfest hat.
Right, no. Brad. Tell me about the beer. Come on, drink the beer. Talk about the beer like we run a beer channel.
This is party juice, Johnny. This is what I want to be drinking. Fest beer. It's the best beer by far. It's just the best, Johnny. I don't know where to go from there. I absolutely love this stuff.
Well, you could tell us about the marzipan, the soft. I get a little bit of banana, but not in a bad way.
Okay, a little bit.
It's got a lovely fruity character to it. Mostly from the malt, maybe a little bit from the yeast, maybe a little bit from the hops. It's crisp, it's refreshing, it's bright, it's bready. It's everything a Fest beer should be. I would have dialed the IBUs up just a teeny bit. I think I said in the video, but I always say that. I think it's pretty much perfection for me. And I think people in the crowd are loving it.
The color is lovely, isn't it? It's beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that next year Alex will use British hops. I had Utopian's Fest beer last night, which is all English ingredients. All of the ingredients that Utopian use are English, and it was really, really good. Really, very special, very nice. Awesome. I also had their Golding Pilsner, which was not so good. Smelled quite weedy, which would have been fun if it was, an IPA. But it was,
What smelled quite weedy? The Fest beer, their Fest beer.
No, they had a Golding's Pilsner as well that they sent me.
Weedy.
Like really strong, hoppy, weedy character from Golding. So it's a
Golding's
pungent match.
It's not very weedy, is it? Normally,
shouldn't be.
That's interesting.
But the Fest beer was bang on, absolutely beautiful. I didn't even know that Francis Carner came in a can.
Stay
I'd
classy.
be interested in that.
Rick Rogers, love it. Oh, yeah, I do. I don't own a legit Indiana Jones hat.
It's good. It's good.
Johnny's hat is very close to Indy's hat. It's true.
Well, no, I think he's talking about yours. I don't think that Indiana went on his adventures in a free point of sale gift from Paulana Brewery.
He wouldn't have been quite as sexy, would he, if he had one of those floppy things on his head?
Wait, you saying
I thought I'd been to watch the latest Indiana Jones with my girlfriend, but we watched the trailer last night on the telly on Apple TV or whatever, and the de-aged version of Harrison Ford, she went, "Oh, he's quite sexy, isn't he?" And I went, "Yeah, it's Harrison Ford. Like, He's like one of the coolest dudes ever. One of the finest hat wearers in history, Johnny. That man can wear a hat.
Sure can.
Look at that.
Sure can. He's the literal opposite of me, who cannot wear hats. Almost physically cannot wear hats.
That one fits your head well. I think that might be your style.
Yeah, maybe Germany's got smaller heads. I don't know.
Hey.
I don't know. It does seem to, I mean, it is kind of, I've got to be honest, it is kind of resting on my ears.
Have you shrunk it to your head? Because, like, you know, if you wet a hat,
put it in the wash a couple of times.
Like
That's why the feather's gone so fluffy.
Do you remember
Also,
there was
because it's not a feather.
where, I never had them, but I think Levi's, I think this is just a thing with denim in general. You could wear your Levi's in a bath and it would shrink to your size. Do you remember that?
No.
They were shrink to fit Levi's at one point. And then Cheap Monday just went balls out, or balls just like very much.
Balls lovingly shaped.
Yeah. And they made the skinniest jeans ever. Connection to beer, Johnny. Carl Gradin was one of the founders of Cheap Monday Jeans, who is now one of the founders of Omnipollo.
There you go.
How mad is that?
Next, going to brew a Märzen with all local Finnish ingredients.
Oh, I like that.
Love the sound of that. I think local, because festivals, Oktoberfests have all become local. You know, there's English ones, there's American ones. We've been to the Chinese one. So we adapt those festivals according to our local cultures. We should do the same with our beers, like brew a fest beer, but with all local ingredients. I think that's a brilliant thing. I love it.
I was watching something about Finland the other day, Johnny, and they've got one of the highest murder rates in Europe, I believe. Apparently.
Right.
I found that amazing. I thought it was very much one of the sort of safest countries in Europe, but it's got a very high murder rate, apparently, Finland. I might be wrong.
Keep them coming, Brad. Keep the vibes.
Yeah. Sorry, I haven't got any. I mean, I'd love to go to Finland. I went to art school with a guy from Finland who there's military service in Finland, and his name was Arvid. And when he was at school with me, art school, I think he was maybe slightly older. I was probably 19 or something. He was maybe 22, 23. He'd done military service, and he was stationed on the Russian border of Finland, and he could disassemble and reassemble a machine gun in like 30 seconds or something. So he's very calm, but also a little bit dead behind the eyes, but a very talented graphic designer. So yeah, shout out Ovid, wherever you are these days, buddy. You were great.
There we go. Shout out to Abed.
Yeah.
Roger wants to say that the recipe we did for the pastry stouts was great. So did you brew it, Roger? If so, I'm glad it really worked out for you, because that was a real labor of love. That was one where I naively thought that pastry stouts would be relatively easy to make. And they're not. They're absolutely fucking impossible. They're a fucking nightmare, and I don't think I'll ever make one again.
No, they are hard on the kit, aren't they? The mash
hard on the kit, hard on time. Recipes are complicated.
Yeah.
Selecting your adjuncts is, because one of the things where you can't possibly know how a coffee is going to play out in reality. Yeah, at least with hops, we have so much kind of data to look back on, so much advice from the hop growers. With coffee people, you go there and go like, what will this be like if I cold steep it for 48 hours in an alcoholic beverage? And they'll be like, don't know, nobody fucking does that. Why would I know? So very stressful experience, that one, not gonna lie. But Roger gave it a go, and I'm super glad that it panned out. What kind of coffee did you use? I'd love to know that, because we're still trying to work out the best style of coffee for pastry stouts.
Nescafe Gold, Johnny. Is that a thing anymore? Does anyone still drink instant coffee? I reckon most people still drink instant coffee.
Yeah, of course they do.
Right? Like
all the pods, the Nescafe pods.
Yeah, I only drink iced coffee, as it's well documented. I'm like a child. It's sort of like a milkshake, but it's sort of vaguely coffee flavored milkshake to me.
Yeah, if you use instant coffee for iced lattes, it's all right.
I don't know about that. And
No, it's
Kirsty,
all right.
my girlfriend, has specifically bought Nespresso or whatever they are pods that are supposedly iced coffee oriented. Don't rate them. Don't rate them.
There we go.
That's great. Look at that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Beautiful.
I'm trying to remember what our favourite. It was Hackashaw or the Augustino, isn't it? I think
We've got to go and do a comprehensive Oktoberfest video at some point. Me and you, Johnny. Maybe next year if we're allowed. We get the sanction.
it does need to happen. Yeah,
it's got to happen. It's got to happen. I think we could make an absolutely brilliant series or bit of content around it. Have you got anywhere near you that's doing any excellent Oktoberfest themed events? I've been looking at the beer shop in Folkestone. Have gone all out with their Oktoberfest celebrations. They've got like most of the beers on, I believe. It's only a small little place. They've all got lederhosen on, like legit. They've got they've got sausage platters. They've got all kinds of crazy shit. It looks great. It basically looks brilliant. And if I wasn't doing this today, I would have driven down Folkestone to go there because I love those guys. So shout out Beer Shop Folkestone.
There you go. Colin's asking what yeast we used. I don't actually know. So it is the house yeast that Lost and Grounded always use, but I don't actually know what exact variety that was. He changed it. He said he changed it about a year ago, and he thought his beer was much better. But I can try and find out for you, Colin. Oh my God, what's going on? My camera's drunk. You're gonna have to bear with me, Brad.
Yeah.
If you could entertain the folks.
Oh dear. This is like very much like Wayne's World, where Garth gets the camera on him and he can't handle it. So I've recently been in. Oh, I tell you what. Today, Johnny, I bought a great record on vinyl, which we played one of the songs from on our playlist at our festival. Let me grab this vinyl because it's beautiful. Earth, Wind and Fire. How cool is this? And then the best part is it's a gatefold. Look at that. This is like Jimi Hendrix level gatefold levels of cool. That's great, isn't it? How much? Look at this from a charity shop today in Deptford.
Brad, am I right in thinking you don't actually have a vinyl player?
No, I do. I've got a Technics 1210, mate. Yeah. I got a Technics 1210 from my friend Anna Iceland from uni. She sold me one of her 1210s, which is the classic DJ deck.
All right, there we go. I thought last time you bought some vinyls, I don't actually have a vinyl player. Maybe it was just in the attic or something.
No, I've got loads of vinyl. I've got like an obscene amount of vinyl players, like I have an obscene amount of cameras. So I've got all sorts of different ones.
Mr. Rougelot says, if you never bring Brad to Oktoberfest, he will be the kid blaming his parents 20 years later for not taking him to Disneyland. That's accurate. That
Maybe.
is.
I nearly went off of my own back this year with some other friends, Johnny, because I feel like I'm a 40-year-old man. I wanted to do like a big kind of. I'm 40 this year. Well, actually, I'm 41 in just over a month. So I'm pretty old, and me and my friends were gonna try and have a kind of a lads' weekend, going to Oktoberfest or Prague, potentially, and just having or Bruges. But it's very hard to organize people as they get older. They've all got kids, Johnny. It's like herding cats. It's unreal trying to organize 39/40-year-old men. It's impossible.
It's literally our job to do that, so I know how hard it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Roger used Brazilian coffee, which is what went into our On the Pollo collab, which sadly didn't make it to the festival, but we will be doing a second event to launch it. We went Brazilian as well.
I thought ours was that Brazilian? It was Brazilian. Was it? Maybe. Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was Brazilian that went into the homebrew, and it's Brazilian that went into the final beer as well.
Okay.
I just like the way those fellas grow their coffee, I guess.
There you go.
Oh, I missed by one, but Bruges is a wonderland. Herding drunk cats is very much the vibe at the craft beer
That's
channel, and indeed
the
just
name
mini 40s.
of a beer, right? I think we should call a beer that Herding Cats.
Herding drunk cats.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm thinking of this is the most expensive, one of the most. Oh fuck, it's not going to work, is it? You can't see it. That's disappointing.
Panama.
Yeah, Panama. This was when we went. It was called Standout Coffee. If anyone wants to follow them on Instagram, Standout Coffee in Stockholm, and they are a mail order coffee merchant, I guess you could say it. So they will send you out a letterbox sized little slidey packet of coffee. I think it was like 100 grams of coffee in there.
100 grams of coffee.
Roasted beans that haven't been ground down, not put into pods or Nescafe Gold. And your man there was charging, how much was it? It was nearly 200 euros for 100 grams of coffee.
It was 120 quid for 100 grams.
It was definitely sort of Pablo Escobar levels of expensiveness, like drugs. Coffee is a drug, isn't it? I suppose. So it was very high end.
Well, caffeine is a drug, yeah.
Uncut premium product, Johnny. Straight from Colombia, straight from the Amazon.
Luckily, Brad said none of this shit when we were at Standout Coffee.
Yeah.
He saved it for the flight home. Justin DeFlitch, any plans on coming to Washington State? Machine House Brewery in Seattle make the best bitters on earth. Sorry, the best bitters. Weirdly, we know of Machine House because when we did our what do we call it? Cask. I've got the poster here somewhere.
Keep Cask alive?
No. The Cask broadcast.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Cask Festival with 5 Points, a live show that we did 2 years ago now. We got breweries all over the world to send us videos of their cask ale breweries. And they were one of the ones that sent in a video very kindly. So we saw the brewery and it looked fantastic. And it looked like they make fantastic beer. I mean, I'd love to go to Seattle. I mean, I've never been to the Pacific Northwest as a beer geek, and that's insane. And I probably would have made it if it weren't for COVID and then child. But one day,
mate,
we shall come.
I've been down the West Coast, all down the Pacific Northwest on the Amtrak Coast Starlight train about 10 years ago, Johnny, just as we were starting the channel, maybe a little bit before. And it was an amazing experience. I went all the way down from Canada through what is it? I can't remember. Anyway, I went through Seattle and Portland, Oregon, and down to San Francisco eventually, and a little bit beyond. But yeah, Portland and shit was amazing. And Seattle was cool. I bought lots of cassette tapes of grunge cassette tapes. From I can't remember what the music exchange store was I went to, but they were like $2 or something for all of the Nirvana cassette tapes. This is before cassette tapes came back as a strong format, Johnny. So I was like, I bought them all up when I was over there. I got some Pixies, some Sonic Youth, Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, I believe. Stuff like that. All the good stuff on vinyl back in the day. It was beautiful. So I think we should... Oh, and I met a dude from Amtrak who assured me that he was going to hook me up and get us some sort of press passes to ride on the Amtrak rail network. And it never came off, Johnny. It never came off. Still friends with him on Instagram. Still like his photos from time to time. Met him in Heinhold's first and last stand in just outside of San Francisco, across the bay in, I can't remember what it's called. There's Jack London Square, Oakland. I met him in Oakland in Jack London Square. In Heinhold's first and last stand, which is a tiny little shack, which is like an amazing little mad old craft beer bar that is supposedly made from the remnants of a whaling ship. So it was steeped with history, Johnny, and it was steeped with drunk people. And I sat next to this fella who was his job was to basically ride the Amtrak network and check that they sort of like were on time and that everyone was enjoying their journey, which I thought was a great job. So I spoke to him, and I spoke to a dude who was very much like Samuel L. Jackson, who was telling me that he had some very strong, powerful dogs, and he was a trail runner somewhere near LA. And he said that I think it was a cougar or a mountain lion, had tried to eat him, but his dogs had defended him. And he was saying, motherfucker, like an incredible amount when he was describing this story in a very Samuel L. Jackson kind of manner, which was hilarious. And I drank lots of Racer 5 in there. It was great. And I had the best time, Johnny. I love the West Coast. It's brilliant. So we've got to do a West Coast adventure. Smashing Pumpkin Ale.
We will.
Nice.
There is no date or locale for the Monopoly event as yet, but there will be. We are thinking November time. We are thinking probably the Beer Merchants Tap, for the simple reason that they're the people importing it, and it reduces the chance that it won't be there either. So that's a plan. We've got a vague idea about doing like pastry and Pilsner, like the two polar opposites, and just get 10 beautiful taps of Pilsner, 10 beautiful taps of pastry stout. Maybe selling donuts, not quite sure. Yes, next beer. So let's get the old... Oh, I've clicked on the wrong thing. Where am I? Here I am. Drinking order. Oh, Bradley.
Yeah.
Bradley, I haven't been doing my...
Tasting notes.
I worked so hard on these emojis yesterday. So Zoltar Mystic, I thought I was trying to go for hedgerow, honey, and I had to put blueberries up there.
Loops. Yeah.
But I meant blue currant. Black. Oh my god, black currant. Then I went honey, croissants, and lemon. Pretty close. And then this one, which I think this is my favorite collab, or my favorite beer that we've done, and it's Beak Embers. Pine. The sweets are caramel and orange.
Nice. Oh, that's a heady combo right there, isn't it? That is. I mean, I'm wearing an appropriate hat to walk through a pine forest while rotting my teeth, eating candy, and rolling some oranges in my pockets, Johnny, seductively.
So the story of this beer, I planned very carefully the beer list to have session beers, strong beers, beers in between, different styles. Sent multiple emails, chatted recipes quite in depth with Beak. Turned up on the day, expecting to brew a West Coast Pale Ale inspired by a brewery we won't mention because they're horrible racists, but they still unfortunately make very good beer. And Robin, head brewer at Beak, was just like, "Oh, I thought we were making an IPA." So he'd looked at, the rough recipe that we'd put together and just went, "Oh, malt's a bit low." So we ended up with, instead of 5.5% American Pale, we ended up with a 6.5% West Coast IPA. But luckily, it probably is my favorite beer of all 10, which is often the way it goes. The accidents work.
Exactly. Worst things happen at sea, Johnny. It's a happy accident. It just meant like a bit of a silly tap list.
Yeah, exactly. Just a less responsible tap list than I was intending. So apologies to anybody that struggled.
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay. Well, let's address this. The racist brewery is founders never, ever, 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 ever touch their beer. Rob from Hopstein says one of the best UK brewed West Coast IPAs I've had in a long time.
Yes. Nice one, Rob.
So I am super proud and excited about this beer. I think it's absolutely stunning. Rich orange. I haven't seen Rob in a while.
Go and say hey to Rob. Oh, that smells amazing, doesn't it? Still smells amazing, Johnny. Every time
orange,
I stick my
nose and pine, and caramel, a little bit candied, boiled orange sweets. right level of bitterness, right level of sweetness. It is so fucking good. And when this is all in the video, but when we approached Beak and said we wanted to do a birthday beer with them, they were like, and I said I want to do a West Coast. They were like, why? And I was like, because Trees, which was the only other one they'd done, I think. I was like, it was so good. And I'm really glad we did this with them because it is absolutely beautiful. And you'll see when we drink the other West Coast IPA from Siren, very, very different. So these are two very different West Coast IPAs, which is interesting. There's even variation within the styles of IPA. Yeah, sorry to any hearts are broken with the founders thing. It's quite easy to find the controversies that they've been involved in. It's not pretty. There we go. Rich Harper agrees. Absolute stunner. I remember actually one of the most vivid memories, weirdly, I have of our trips that we've taken, Brad, is when we were in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And we'd been going around lots of breweries.
Sorry? Scrapple?
It was not the Scrapple. It was not the Scrapple. I mean, that is a vivid memory, but one I've tried to block. But so we've been going to all these new young breweries, and we'd had some very tasty beer. But I remember, like, I think it was our last night, and we were saying goodbye to the people that have been looking after us. And we were like, well, we don't really know where to go tonight. And I can't even remember the name of the brewery, but it's like a big local brewery. And we were like, oh, we might just go there because. Sorry,
Pizza Boy, not Pizza Boy.
No, it wasn't Pizza Boy. It was like a chain. Like they had more than one tap room. It will come to me eventually.
A really beautiful one that was in like a fucking wood mill or something that was like beautiful. Was that one?
No, that was Shy Bear.
Oh yeah.
It was up in the hills, and they had the sign.
No, not that one. There was one in the town which was beautiful as well. Not that Shy Bear was amazing. It was beautiful looking.
There was saying the wood mill. You don't mean the one that was in Florida that was called Woodcraft, and it was a wood mill.
No, not that. No, there was it was just like a huge sort of expansive space that was. I'm probably getting confused.
Oh,
it was in town somewhere. Yeah.
I do know where you mean. It was decent beer, really decent beer.
Yeah, it was good. You're not talking about there though.
No, not that place. It was literally the last night. It was just a tap room we went to, a very average, normal tap room, and we were warned off going there like, oh, it's bang average beer. But so we've been drinking endless like hazy IPAs, experimental beers, pastry beers, all this kind of stuff, and we sat down and we just had like a pretty bang average dinner, but a beautiful West Coast IPA, the way that they used to make them, Brad.
Yeah.
And my palate was immediately refreshed by it.
This is my brain is a hazy IPA at this point.
It's cloudy. I mean, I could look it up on my phone, but that wouldn't be good content. But we definitely there's something about West Coast IPA, which is certainly for me, and probably I think for British drinkers that have been into beer for a decade or more.
Iron Hill. Someone's saying Iron Hill. That rings a bell.
Iron Hill? That might be the warehouse one. Oh, I'm going to have to get my phone out, aren't I?
Definitely rings a bell.
But yeah, I think West Coast IPA as a style is very evocative. Like I also think good Pilsners are and Lambics are. And just every time I have a West Coast IPA, I'm taken back to Harrisburg in Pennsylvania. And sort of thinking about that place, which was called. No, so the place we went that was a great, amazing, big old mill was called Evergreen.
Oh.
And the other place we went, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, the highlight and all you need to know about Harrisburg is Trogs. Just go to Trogs. Trogs all day. I know what you're thinking about, Bradley.
Yeah.
You're thinking about New Trail.
No, I'm not. I remember New Trail. New Trail was amazing. Yeah.
Then I have no idea.
I think it is. I think it might have been Iron Hill. No, it looks in my head. It was in the town center. It looked like my phone won't focus, but Iron Hill looks familiar in Exton, Pennsylvania.
According to Google, I've never been there.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, maybe I've just travelled there in my mind, Johnny. It looks familiar,
Unsure.
but there is definitely a sort of formula with like massively beautiful historic buildings and like epic scenery in breweries in America, whereas in like the UK they're on industrial estates or railway arches. So like, you know, you go out to the States, you're like, oh my god, this is the most beautiful brewery I've ever been to. Since the one I went to yesterday, which was the most beautiful brewery I've ever been to.
Yeah.
And that's even in like, you go somewhere like San Francisco, even there, they're bloody beautiful. You know, there's like amazing looking places there. That's like the most expensive place in America to fucking have a brewery.
Yeah, I mean, it speaks volumes about the British craft beer industry that no brewery can really afford anywhere nice to be. There's a couple of breweries that have managed it, or they're way out of town and have done a lot of work to make it work. Yeah. Seems like we've got a lot of people that have spent time in Pennsylvania and love the breweries there. But everybody's loving Embers. I genuinely, I think it's absolutely fantastic.
It's really good, man.
If this was, I think it's one of the best West Coast IPAs I've had in the UK.
I think it's one of the best West Coast IPAs I've had in years.
Yeah.
This is like why I got into drinking beer, was this sort of jam, man. This is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, I drink this all day. You know, it's desert island beer good, Embers. It's just a shame it's 6.4. Maybe we need so we'll have Embers, we'll have Roaring Fire, which is the dipper, and we'll have I was gonna say Ashes. No, that doesn't work. Need a pale ale version of this. Same hop combo. Try and keep as much of that chewy malt body as possible. But yeah, just on the night, I wish it'd been 1% lower and I'd have drunk it most of the night. But instead, I drank a lot of this beautiful thing at 4.8, which is also stunning. Not in the box, but I've got lots of it, and I'm
Can your camera focus on the back of the Short Shorts can?
Yes, it can, with pleasure. Anybody want to see Bradley on a can?
That's so good. Shit, I need to take a photo of that. It's hilarious. I love that. This is like my favorite thing ever. I've been immortalized in children's books and various different things, Johnny. Isn't it weird to think that after we're dead, people are going to be able to watch us on the internet?
I worry about that every single day, Bradley.
I've never really worried about it before, but I just thought the other day, I was like, I don't print any photos, but I take photos all the time. And I'm pretty good at taking photos, but I don't really do anything with them. And then I thought, at least when I die, people can sort of look at my likeness on the internet. And maybe that's okay. I don't know. It's weird to think about that, isn't it?
I mean, I'm not that worried about people like seeing us online or drunk or doing this. What scares me is because the day that I realized it is we were chatting to Zinthafile, to Martin Cornell, while we were filming the Now IPA documentary, and he said a thing to me. He said, brewers, please write down all of your recipes, because Martin Cornell in 100 years will rely on these so much. And I said to him, it's like, well, I guess you need to remember that everything you write, you know, is there pressure. It has to be super well researched, because you know that in 100 years, future Martin is going to be doing that. And he sort of turned it around on me and was like, and when you do videos, people are going to be watching those videos and literally writing articles based off of what we said. Even if it's wrong, even if what we say is wrong, somebody will go, this is what they were saying back then. Or this must be right because I have this source. Will be quoted as a source in historical, supposedly factual information in 100 years, going, you know, Johnny Garrett or Brad Evans of the Craft Beer Channel said this about West Coast IPA, you know?
It ain't going to be
Brad Evans. Terrifying.
It's going to be Johnny Garrett, let's be honest. Johnny Garrett said this. They're going to cut me out the history books for my nonsense.
They can't, though, because there's videos.
There are videos. There are multiple. But there's like, is it over 600? There's I've lost count. Well, really close to 600, if not over 600 videos now on craft beer.
Yeah, I think we're over 600 now.
Wild times, man. Wild times to be alive.
Thing is, as our intro to this video kind of implied, I'd say only half of those are worth watching.
I mean, it depends how much you want to go down the rabbit hole, you know? I certainly watch, I just watch so much stuff on YouTube all the time, Johnny.
Do you know, weirdly, I barely watch any YouTube. I watch historical stuff. I watch NFL.
NFL?
Yeah. All right. Not an NFL fan. But no, so they have the highlights on YouTube. That's about it. And French guy cooking. That's about it, really. So I'm always surprised when it's used as sort of a real researching. I never use it for research. It's full of idiots. And full of sensationalism.
It's full of amazing shit, man. Like, I'm on there all the time. Like, I've been looking at, what have I been looking at today? Just different. Oh, I spoke to a guy today called Nigel about lenses and cameras. He wasn't on YouTube, actually. I don't know why I'm going on about Nigel. But I met this guy called Nigel today. He taught me about a new, well, it's not new. It's one of the earliest photography processes that I've ever heard of. Like after tin plate photography, wet plate photography. But it's basically you take a photo 3 times, a black and white photo, and you put a red filter, a green filter, a blue filter on it, and then you bring them together and you make a color photo out of 3 black and white photos, Johnny. It blew my mind. This is the thing. And he said to me, he was a really weird dude. He was called Nigel. He looked about 75. I met him at a flea market in Deptford today after my breakfast of a corn dog. And I talked to him for about 40 minutes. Kirsty was ringing me non-stop. My phone was going crazy in my pocket. She wanted me to leave Nigel alone. But honestly, the man was a font of knowledge. And he told me, he was like, Bradders, I've got the most dangerous chemical in the world in my collection. I was like, what are you on about, Nigel? He said, I've got this Russian chemical that you're not allowed to buy anymore. And I've got about 1 kilogram of it. And it basically dissolves any carbon-based life form. But you can use it in this photographic process. I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about, Nigel.
What do you mean any carbon-based life form? Aren't we all made of carbon?
We're all made of carbon, mate. Yeah. So he was like, it dissolves. He's like, it's all right once it's in water, but you don't want to get it anywhere near you when it's a powder. I was like, oh, why is that? Oh, because it dissolves carbon-based life forms. I was like, oh, right. So that's basically everything then. Yeah. He's like, yeah, you're not allowed to buy it anymore. It's like a Russian chemical. It's really good shit, but you can't buy it anymore. I've got about 1 kilogram of it at home. I was like, fucking hell. You sound dangerous now. I'm going to stay well away from you, mate. But yeah, we were talking about strange stuff.
But that's not on YouTube.
It's not on YouTube. We were talking about YouTube and different, like pinhole photography. He was talking about making paper that you've kind of like you've made the sort of, what do you call it, the light sensitive material from egg yolks or milk, and then you're putting this mad shit. Usually it's like silver halides and stuff. He was telling me about this mad carbon-based life form dissolving chemical, which is really good apparently for trichromatic photography.
But again, not YouTube.
We were talking about YouTube, referring back to YouTube. I don't know why I've gone on this tangent. Sorry, on a massive tangent. His teeth are so yellow.
Sorry. First thing to address is people are calling me a Pats fan. I won't stand for that.
Oh.
I got into NFL in 2016, which was the year that the Browns went 0-16. So I started off supporting the Browns. I was like, it's only up from here. Then they essentially recruited a rapist for a quarterback. So I switched to the worst team last year. So now I'm a Chicago Bears fan. I'm not a fan. I just follow them and get interested by them because they're awful and they've chosen a quarterback that can't make decisions. Anyway, not an NFL podcast. Also, not a going to destroy all carbon-based life forms with my
Do you
photography
remember
techniques.
the
channel.
brewer from Meantime used to play NFL?
He didn't play NFL.
Sorry,
He played
Not
American
NFL.
football at university. Yeah,
he's a big lad.
he was a linebacker. Yeah.
But
Yes.
interestingly, he didn't like watching any sports. Like I don't really enjoy watching sport.
No, yeah, I mean, he did say he said he liked watching the highlights of NFL, and that's what I did. I'd love to go to a game, and I obviously watched the Super Bowl, but when you have a job and a child, you can't watch full games of NFL because they're 3.5 hours long. It's a bit much.
John from Hackney was saying that there's an NFL game in Tottenham or something, right?
They have two in the UK a year, yeah, to try and grow the
There's
UK
one coming
audience.
up in a couple of weeks, and they're doing some sort of event or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, if you're going to the Tottenham game, which is Jags, is it Jags Falcons?
It's Jags.
You can go to Hackney Brewery beforehand. They're screening the game, and they've got a takeover with Thin Man. Thin Man?
That's it. Yeah, Thin Man. They've done a collab this week with Thin Man Brewery. Yeah, correct.
I got a question here. Did anyone recognize another YouTuber behind the bar at the festival last week? Johnny Chiodini. There's another YouTuber. What?
Is that what?
You'll have to explain that to us, Ben. There was a YouTuber behind the bar? Not quite sure. Tell us. All about the Red Zone. Watch the best bits as they're happening. What's the Red Zone? It's like a live broadcast of the cool shit that's happening.
The Red Zone. That sounds like a sort of like a real intense discussion YouTube channel.
You're in the Red
About
Zone.
Like things that are fouls or something in NFL.
Do you know, weirdly, so I don't know whether we've been hacked or whether something's changed in the algorithm of the craft beer channel, but I have started being sent, you get your notifications to your phone for YouTube. Well, actually, maybe it's you. No, you log in as yourself for YouTube, don't you?
Yeah.
Endless. Like, there's a channel that keeps being sent to me called Daily Dose of Masculinity, and it's horrible, horrible stuff.
That's me. Oh no, it's not me. It's not me.
No, it's like anti-trans, homophobic awfulness.
Oh god.
And I don't know where it's coming from.
What you mean? They're commenting, or they're like sending it as a suggestion?
No, the algorithm is saying watch this.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I don't know whether it's like picking up, like, well, you're watching NFL, drinking beer. I don't know whether it's decided that if I'm my age, my gender, liking these things, I must also be a fucking transphobe. I don't know. Or I don't know. I watched something out of anger one night, being like, who's this dickhead? And it's decided, oh, you must have enjoyed that. Don't know. One of the people behind the indoor bar was a YouTuber. Apparently his mate's own Hackney Brewery and he needed an extra. Well, I had no idea, but I'm going to look up Johnny Chiodini right after this live show.
He definitely didn't introduce himself.
No, well, maybe he doesn't like our stuff. Or maybe he didn't know who we were. That also happens with the majority of the human race. Just had a super chat.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
10 years of DCBC, 10 years of the beer memories, knowledge of stout, knowledge of pale, flagons of cask. Oh, the golden pale.
Oh.
I need to be doing this more justice. Sorry, Paul. I'm going to start again. 10 years of DCBC.
Johnny, wait a minute. I'm going to record this and then we'll put it on stories. Yeah.
Because this isn't the first poem that Paul has sent in, I don't believe.
No, Paul is a prolific poet.
I'm just going to top myself up with the best West Coast IPA of the year.
Okay, let me know when you're going to do it and I'll record you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Shall I go full screen on me?
Yeah, go on.
You want your reactions?
No, it's all good.
Right. I've got to sit high enough. 3 years. 3. Jesus. Fucked up already. Start again. 10 years of the B.
Oh, dear.
Right. Okay. You ready, Brad?
I'm going to start over.
You've all just had an insight into when I do the voiceover for CBC videos. How now, brown cow? The Human Torch was denied a bank loan. 10 years of the CBC. 10 years of the beer memories. Knowledge of stout, knowledge of pale, flagons of cask. Oh, the golden ale. You damn fine sirs, you maketh me drink, and for that I grant a cheeky wink.
Oh my God, Paul,
Did I
you've
get
done
there?
it again. I think you might have surpassed your last poem, Paul. That's beautiful.
Did
10
you record
years,
that one as
£10
well?
for each year, Johnny. That is an incredibly generous contribution. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thanketh thee very much, Paul.
Now your legend as a poet and a scholar will live on in memoriam throughout the YouTubes, and they'll be quoting you in the year 33,000 as one of the best poets in the land. Beer poets. Maybe you've got a wider repertoire. Sorry, Paul. I didn't want to say you're just a beer poet. You might just be a straight up great poet and know it.
If we looked at Rotten Tomatoes, I'd say mixed reviews is probably fair. I haven't got the green tomato, but I don't think I've got a red one.
What are we talking about now? Mixed tomato reviews for what?
Red tomatoes.
Rotten
tomatoes. When Rotten Tomatoes, not red tomatoes.
Yeah, I know Rotten Tomatoes. What are you giving a mixed review for? Sorry,
I was getting a mixed review for my reading.
Oh, you're reading. I was like, the poem's great.
You're too busy eating. Is it Love Corn or Tony's you're on?
Love Corn,
Still
baby.
on Love Corn. Still on Love Corn.
I think they might be.
Oh God!
Some of the finest pub snacks I've ever eaten.
Can we record that and then sell it back to them?
This is it? Maybe we just use this as a straight up advert for them when they sponsor us, Johnny. But like, I mean, I knew these were going to be good because they're salt and vinegar, and they've really gone to town on the vinegar. But what stunned me was the ready salted. They're the saltiest little buggers I've ever put in my mouth. They are unreal how salty they are. And when you are consuming beer on a grand scale, you want a salty, crunchy, umami, delectable treat. And I don't think there's much better than this, Johnny. I'm a big fan of popcorn, and this is like, I don't understand exactly what they are. They're unpopcorn, but they're also not just straight up kernels. They're like slightly popped or something. I don't know what's going on, but I love them. I love them, Johnny. I think they're going to save the planet, probably. Are they incredibly unhealthy?
Bradley, I'm afraid to say. So during the research for my next book, I got very excited when I discovered. So my next book is about how beer is changing and saving the world, or has changed and will save the world. And I got very excited when I discovered that brewer's yeast is being used to create biofuel, right? So it's literally breaking down corn into ethanol. Unfortunately, while that is relatively good for the planet, obviously biofuel, what it means is we're creating monocultures of crops that are destroying the world, and it's all corn. So actually, corn is not great. We should not be encouraging much more corn to be grown. So I don't think it'll save the world. But if we can make ethanol production much more efficient, maybe we can start championing love corn as the thing we eat after all the animals are dead and the world's burning.
These guys, they're not gonna be responsible for global monoculture genocide.
Hey, the way you're talking. You just said they're going to save the world, save world hunger.
Well, I don't know. I said I didn't know if they'd save the world. I mean, popcorn has saved my life in that I've transitioned to eating popcorn, a slightly healthier snack than Frazzles and such. So I've lived to the ripe old age of 41 almost, Johnny. Almost 41. I've made it.
Don't jinx it.
I thought I'd ever make it. And thank you, sir. Because I've made it here partly because of you and doing this, legitimately from the heart. Thank you. This has been a wild, wonderful ride, and I love you. I'm not even that drunk. I'm just, being being honest here. This is, doing craft beer channel has got me through a lot of rough times in my life, and I feel like it's gotten other people through rough times in their life as well.
Well, that was a real theme at our festival last weekend, was people saying lockdown was made a bit easier by you guys, and my response was always, it got us through lockdown, because every Friday we had something to plan for during the week and something to do on a Friday night. And yeah, really did help us through that incredibly tough time. But I love you back. It's got me through some tough times, CBC. And yeah, I'd be very happy to hear every time. I'm very happy to hear people that we've helped other people as well. Alcohol is talked about in very negative terms generally, and it can be very negative if it's not in control. Let's be very honest about that. But it is a way that, we've made more friends through beer than probably anything else we've done. We have learned more, made our careers. Beer is a very important thing. Pubs are a very important thing in people's mental health, and that shouldn't be forgotten either. It's the perfect social lubricant. We always champion drinking responsibly, but I think, as I'm going to say, we've got a large male audience that follow us, and I think we, in general, as a sort of populace, we don't talk enough about how we're feeling. So I hope that we can have sort of honest discord about, when we're not feeling too great and all that kind of stuff. And if it takes having a little drink to get a little bit, actually that's not very good to say, but a little bit of Dutch courage to sort of open up, because there shouldn't be any shame involved in sort of saying I don't feel great or anything like that. But I've been kind of in that situation where I haven't felt like I could open up to people. And I know going to a pub has made me loosen up a little bit and have a sort of like an honest conversation with people when I've needed to. Sometimes it's easier to speak to people that you don't know that well as well. Like, there's a lot to be said for the pub as a kind of a talking house for people that don't really know each other that well. When you can just sort of open up to strangers. Kindness to strangers is amazing, I think. Hopefully we're at a point now where people consider us as friends, but we're still sort of remote to a point where people can hopefully open up to us and that can have a sort of honest sort of discussion about how they're feeling. And hopefully that's, what the Patreon kind of offers a little bit as well. We have that space. How are you? Where people can talk about that, and it's been heartening to see people able to open up, and people very happy to talk it through with people as well. So I think the Discord forum is one of the best things we've done, and I'm very pleased that there's that element to it. Right, so we are coming on to beer number 3. We're halfway through the show.
Number four.
Sorry, we've done half the show, so we're going to take a very short convenience break. And then we're going to come back with 2 comments I'm very keen to answer. One from Dr. Sam, one from Andy Topham. So I'm going to play the intro video again, which will give us 2 minutes.
Great idea.
And we will be back in those 2 minutes. Catch yourself a quick wee, grab the next beer, which is the Hackney Millions. We'll see you in 2 minutes for the Q&A and the last 3 beers.
Just over 10 years ago, Brad and I kept finding ourselves at the Old Fountain in Old Street, London, ordering pints of Oakham Citra and a burger on a Friday. We didn't know much about beer, only what a few YouTube reviewers and bloggers had told us, but we started plotting the idea of a YouTube channel using our then boss's equipment. Our boss was Jamie Oliver, so he had quite a lot of it. Originally, another guy called Jim was involved, but he didn't last long, while Brad remained resolutely behind the camera and I fronted it. Our earlier videos weren't terribly good. In fact, they were awful. We were self-taught at everything: filming, presenting, editing, brewing. But when did the lack of talent and knowledge stop anyone succeeding on YouTube?
I don't know what I'm saying here.
Over time, we found a voice, irreverent, distractible, adventure-based but backed by pretty hard research.
Willkommen nach das Craftbeer Channel.
Das ist Oktoberfest!
Na genug.
And we found an audience, passionate, patient, knowledgeable and thirsty, and things began to click. We started to travel the world, make long-form documentaries that got to the heart of why we'd come to love beer so much, and then we wrote books about our discoveries, and even started winning a few awards. Finally, in 2018, we took the channel full-time, turning a hobby into a career, and we owe it all to the people who watch our content, who are watching tonight, and who came to our 10th birthday last weekend. It's fair to say you've changed our lives, sending us on an entirely unexpected and wonderful journey. There isn't really a way to process that or to say thanks to you all properly, but we're going to say it now and hope that it echoes for as long as we have this amazing job.
Thank you. Hello.
I just want to bring people back. If you weren't at the festival, then you might not have seen this. This is oh my God, a Methusalem. This made it home with me, Johnny. We lost the Westy crate, but look at that. That's a sight to behold, eh?
Yeah. So our plan is we're going to brew a home brew.
Yeah.
Put it in there. If we can find a cork to seal it.
The cork is ridiculously large, though.
Yeah. What's the aperture of that? Do you reckon?
Almost like a finger and a half. I've got a fat. Oh no! Hang on. No. I'm going to take that back. It's
not a normal cork, is it?
I've got like butcher's fingers, like proper.
It's just a champagne cork.
Oh, do you know what? I think it might be. I thought it was huge.
Go on, Brad. Next time you just crack some champagne, keep the cork.
Yeah, I'll casually just double check that it's not. I think the outer wall is like really, really thick, but I actually think it might be a normal cork size. Now I'm looking at it again. I only looked at this in the sort of wee twilight hours of the festival, and I kind of ferried it away in my Uber back to South London. It made it back safe. I really like.
Did the taxi driver say anything?
The case that it's in, it barely fits, Johnny. It just about fits in there. But look at that. That is a beautiful thing. That was great, wasn't it? St. Bernardus, man. How cool is that?
Yeah, I'm excited to show that video. I mean, we've got some killer content coming up. So obviously we've got all of the collaboration videos. We've also got the St. Bernardus video to come. Then I am going to Svalbard in 2 weeks to the world's most isolated brewery for the book, but I'll be making a film. And there's somewhere else. I'm going to Egypt in January to film the world's oldest commercial brewery. So we've got some shit. We've got some shit coming. Anyway, so we are now getting behind in the comments, so I apologize. So A, super chat comes into play at this point, but B, hold your questions. We will come back to them as much as we can. We will answer them, but please feel free to use super chat. So
Malt Miller have said they can help us with the cork situation.
Can they? Hey, there you go. See, I love, it's probably Reiki, isn't it? Just 29ml cap and cork. There we go.
Boom.
So we need to work out what that beer will be. Maybe that's the Now IPA that's barrel aged with Brett goes in there. So first thing I don't want to go down too much of a sideline here, Bradley, but surf and turf, scampi fries and bacon fries. Have you done that?
I don't think I've officially done that. No, that sounds pretty interesting. Can we call that surf and turf? I guess pigs eat turf, so maybe that's legit. I thought surf and turf was reference to cows. So like a steak and...
I think you've overthought it. I think you've gone too far. It's just animal and sea, isn't it?
I guess so, surf and turf. Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. That is going to... that's going to clog your arteries, something rotten. Millions.
I mean, I don't think having them at the same time is any kind of issue. I've had one pack followed by the other. Right, so this is Millions of Peaches, Millions of Melba, based off of Millions of Peaches. The video, the homebrew, the collaboration brew video of this is going live in 3 weeks, two or 3 weeks. This was where we hosted the festival. So massive shout out to John and to Pete and to Fufu, who were, like I said on the night, beyond human, just wonderful, incredibly hardworking people. And this is our Melba Sour, so peaches and raspberries. And I think it's one of my favorite sours I've had in a long time. I think it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. On the day, we tasted the purees and we decided we needed more peach than was in the recipe, which is why you're always on the day. You sniff your hops, you taste your malts, and you check your purees because you don't quite know how they're going to play out. And I think we pretty much nailed it. I think it smells beautiful. Brad, bigging up his work there. Carlo, First Beer and Embers were great, but this was my favorite at the fest. An absolute smash of a sour at 4%. And that's why we wanted to do a sour with these guys, because they genuinely make, with sourness in the beer industry, it's always been like not sour enough. It's always been about the acidity, and it should never have been about the acidity. We don't talk about acidity in champagne and prosecco, even though they have very low pH. You know, it's all about the flavors that come with it, and the acidity is almost a vehicle, and that's what it should be. So this is 3.2, I think he said it came out at, but it doesn't taste that acidic because it's loaded with complexity and delicious flavors and fruits and tannins and peachiness, and that's what we should talk about when we talk about sour beer. You know, we don't talk about the pH. You know, pH can vary in beer a fair chunk, and we don't talk about it. It's only when we talk about it being in the threes that we get excited about it. But what matters is that fruity character, the clean finish, the slightly tropical notes from the Philly yeast, and the lovely sort of wheaty pilsnery body that it sits on. I just think it's brilliant. I love their sours.
It's you know, I think a lot of people sometimes think sours are too extreme. This is like massively crushable, isn't it? You know, it's one of the, I think, you know, a sour at this sort of percentage, this kind of variety, well, you know, you can drink this all night and you're probably not going to have acid reflux, hopefully.
No, I really don't think you will. I think it's perfectly balanced. It is pintable, and you know, quick sours are not my favorite style, but Hackney have always been a brewery I've turned to for it, because you know, if I want something aggressive and exciting and complex, I'd go to proper mixed firm beer. I wouldn't go to a quick sour for 3.2% burning your ribs kind of thing. And I just think that Hackney have nailed that balance between the two. Quick shout out to, so Mark does put this live. I remember Zach Avery. That's one of the things we were watching before we started the craft beer channel, and he was great. And shout out to about to say Robzine, Hopzine. I was watching Rob. I was watching Simon. I was watching Beer Geek Nation. Chris, I think his name was, who no longer makes videos. And oh god, what was the American dude, the biker guy who starts every video going to his fridge and go, let's see what's in the fridge today. Greg's Beer Reviews, I think it's called. Those were the guys we were watching. Big shout out to them, because yeah, we wouldn't exist without that. You know, that's where we got the idea for the craft beer channel and getting out there rather than being in a room. And we, you know, if you look back at our first videos, we were doing beer reviews as well, and we sort of stepped away from that because it was not our forte. What's the process behind this sour? That would be a spoiler, but it's a Philly sour, so it's not a kettle sour. So it's using a yeast that creates lactic bacteria as well as fermenting the alcohol. The fruit was added about 5 days in, so during not quite peak fermentation, but once it was really, really going. And the base is Pilsner and wheat. That's about it, really. The rest will be in the video. But yeah, like Philly sour is brilliant. It's so easy to use, so subtle, but also got enough character that it sort of adds to it. It's great. You are correct in that they talk about acidity, but they don't talk about it as looking for extremes of acidity in champagne. Sorry, I should have been clear. People aren't going, that champagne isn't sour enough. It's not a phrase I've ever fucking heard, but maybe other people have used it. We just got a super chat. Yes, we have.
Good.
How many countries do you have subscribers in? Love and Beer World Tour, just saying. I mean, I would probably say all of them. Let me check the analytics while
All of
Brad
the countries.
you.
All of the
I reckon
countries.
so. I can look
That's
in
wild.
the analytics right now.
Like 100 countries is a lot of countries. I mean, there's way more than 100 countries, obviously, but
Egads, how do I show all of the countries? It'll only show me up to 50. Oh, wait, no, that's views. Oh, this is tricky to find out. This is tricky to find out, Mr. Rougelot. I hope Brad's got plenty to say.
there are officially 195 countries in the world.
Yeah.
I don't know if that includes sort of like states like Taiwan and stuff like that, which are disputed. Maybe not.
No, I think it will. Because I think at least the US recognizes Taiwan, I think.
I also went to art school with a Taiwanese frogman who was in the Navy.
Sorry, what do you mean by Taiwanese frogman?
So, like a scuba diver military.
Oh, right, okay.
So, like someone who is basically a fucking ninja of the ocean. So he can like come at you from under the sea with a machine gun. I went to seemingly I went to art school with a lot of not violent people, but people that were in like military before they went to art school. He is an amazing breakdancer, and he's an amazing artist called Han Lee. Very successful artist now. But yeah, he was I think he was a frogman in the Taiwanese military.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't find that exact data for where our subscribers are. However, looking at last 28 days of people that have looked at our content, we're talking all the countries that Google tracks in. So there's countries that aren't tracked, like China, where supposedly YouTube is banned, but as I learned when I went to China, they all still have it on their phone and they all still use it. They're just using VPNs and stuff to make people not quite be able to track them doing it. Anyway, back to the comments. Where are we? Taiwan would not dispute it 100%, and nor should they. The US doesn't. The UN list is different to the actual number.
Huh.
We've trodden into a world where we don't know enough, but we're in all the countries that Google recognizes, and tragically, they have enough power through their analytics to make almost decisions. Love to you, Rob, as well. The standard bearer. Our arms get tired, but we love doing it. Thank you very much, and thanks for everything you've done on YouTube and with us. It's always been a pleasure meeting with you in Leeds, and you were there. Probably the drunkest Brad's ever been in my presence.
Oof.
Right up there.
Danger.
You got hugged a lot. A lot in the North Brew tap room.
Oh, yeah.
And then that train ride home. You know, any parents out there that have ever taken like a 5-year-old on a train, it was that, but it was Brad, aged 38. That's what I went through for 2.5 hours back from Leeds that night.
Thank God it was the first train, eh?
I was literally, so we've been given a nice care package by North to go home, like 12 cans. And by the end of the train journey, to apologize to people, I'd given out all the cans. Because you were making a lot of friends, but also a lot of enemies, you know?
That's the problem with being drunk off your tits
on a train.
On a train. Yeah. I'm not even going to try and defend that. Yeah, I reckon I was pretty wired on that train back. Fast train back from Leeds. Yeah, they certainly took care of us up at North. Yeah. Okay,
His question: biggest amount of subscribers.
Yeah.
Oh, next beer. Well, give us a second. Blimey.
Okay.
Next, biggest amount of subscribers is the US, followed by the UK, followed by Australia, Canada, Sweden, Germany, Netherlands, India, Ireland, Norway, Denmark, Finland, Belgium.
Finland.
So
Finland. They're tiny as well. That's amazing.
Finland,
We need to go to Finland.
So essentially, we need to get Indian subtitles, Swedish subtitles. Well, Sweden, they speak better English than I do. And same with the Netherlands, and to some extent, most of Germany. So yeah, Indian subtitles we need to work on.
US bigger than UK. It is, isn't it, at this point?
Yeah. By quite a way now.
Yeah.
Well, quite a way. About 10% bigger.
We've had a super chat.
Where are we going?
You got it.
What are your thoughts on the stylized IPA fad? So we did a video on this a couple of months ago. My thinking is that the impact of stylized yeasts is bigger than has been reported and talked about. So stylized yeasts are going to become normal. They're going to be in lots of beers, but you won't see it on the packaging. Certainly in places where it's GM is fine. It's just going to be another technique that brewers use. So the fad will disappear, but the technique will be taken on and used in certain beers and certain styles, particularly obviously New England IPA. But yeah, we won't hear much about it. And in the UK or the EU as well, where currently these yeasts are mostly banned, there's one that isn't a GM yeast that can do it. They might mention it on the packaging, but it's too hard to explain to consumers. It's too risky to talk about GM in countries that aren't so used to it. So it's going to disappear from the packaging and it's going to be used. As for stylized brute IPA, interestingly, brute IPA, first brute IPA in the UK was Big Job from St Austell, and they didn't call it brute IPA because brute IPA didn't exist back then, but they were using amyloglucosidase to make this very, very dry beer for a long time, and so were the big macro breweries and pilsners. They were using it as well. So brute IPA still exists, but people don't talk about it. And stylized IPA will always exist, but people will not talk about it. Thanks, Rich. Thank you for your hearts. Much love. Thank you very much. Mrs. G has just described buttery popcorn smell from Millions. Let's dive in and see.
I just get overwhelming peaches. I don't get any.
I'm not getting any. If you're very, very susceptible to either DMS or, there won't be DMS. It's pretty much an open kettle. There could be there could be a tiny bit of diac in. I'm not detecting any. I'd be very surprised if diac survived the acidity. I thought it would have been chewed up by something happening in there. Don't know. Not to say that it's not there, but I'm not getting any. But we're all sensitive to different things. Any black IPAs over there? Great style, no love. Agree? You'll get around about Christmas, January, February, a bunch of black IPAs come out, but not really. I wrote an article for Good Beer Hunting many years ago about it. Had a little kind of boom about 2-3 years ago when I wrote the article, as people got interested both in malt and hop for a bit. But the problem is, Andy, stop poking the bear. Milds aren't that well hopped. I don't think it's ever going to be a big thing again. It's delicious and it's a great thing, and hopefully Black IPA will, as taps and as I expect they will, diversify again. They'll be around, but they're never going to be big.
Going back deep in the mist of time, Johnny, was Black Mountain our beer with brains? Was that a Black IPA? I can't quite remember.
The first collab we ever did was a Black IPA. Yeah. That was 2014. So that was when it was big, sort of early teens, and everyone was very excited about it. Weirdly, amazingly, the story of Black IPA is fantastic. It comes from the same school as New England IPA did. So it came out of The Alchemist and Hill Farmstead and a couple of other breweries in Vermont all came up with this idea of like a very unroasty dark beer that had all the hop character, big kind of malt character, and that's what they thought it should be. And then separately, almost, there was the Cascadian Dark Ale, which was lower ABV, bit roastier, still really hoppy. It's a really weird, fascinating style. But just, dark beer puts people off, sadly. Big hoppiness puts people off. Big ABV puts people off. And it was just all of these things that meant that only ever beer geeks loved it. So it was never going to break into the mainstream in the same way that IPA or American wheats or Pilsners did in America or in the UK. I believe that. All their beer is great. Love Maine Beer Co. Hope for a maltier future. I agree. I mean, I know if you had to say, if I had gun to my head, favorite ingredient in beer, I'd actually say yeast, but then it'd be hops, then it'd be malt. But I love them all more than I could say. So it's a bit like choosing between your children. Malt Miller have weighed into the thiolized or theorized. I think you mean thiolized, unless I've missed something in the chat and I'm behind the times. Track have done a great job with them and made some interesting beer. I mean, that's an interesting point, actually, that obviously thiolized yeasts can do the work if the thiols are there. So maltsters and hop merchants, which is where the bound thiols are kept, these flavors need to sort of keep up and produce stuff that makes it accessible to these yeasts. So there's lots of things going on with thiolized IPA and it's thiolized beers. I mean, it's mostly IPA, and it will. I think we won't hear about it, but it will become a big thing. And probably on the craft beer channel, you'll hear about it because we'll be like, "What yeast are you using?" And the brewers will be like, "It's a thiolized yeast. It's this one," and we'll talk about it. But on cans or just in social media marketing, they probably won't talk about it a huge amount. Right, next beer, Bradley.
Next beer.
Woo! Where are we? Siren? God, I should know this. Siren!
We've had a super chat.
Oh, God. It's all happening.
Interesting.
Here we go. What is Brad's wardrobe for the next 10 years? Great fucking question, Paul.
Oh, that's not a poem. I'm disappointed.
I could read it like I'm not going to. Brad, the floor's yours.
What's my wardrobe for the next 10 years? I'm investing in more Ralph Lauren, vintage Ralph stuff. Obviously, I'm going to get more hats. I need to add to my hat collection. Because hair is not enough. You need hats to go with the hair as well. So this one's come out on the channel before. I've recently bought a new cowboy hat, which I spent far too much money on, and I'm not entirely sure I like it at all, which has been very upsetting. It's been kind of a traumatic process, to be honest, because I sort of thought about this thing and I put it up on a pedestal like you might do with going somewhere that you think is going to be particularly fantastic, a brewery that you've always wanted to go to or something like that. I reached this pinnacle of owning this hat. And then I realized that I have the opposite problem of Johnny, where my head is too high. So the crown height of this particular Stetson hat just doesn't suit me. So I look like I've got a comedy small hat on, but I also spent a lot of money on this hat. So that's upsetting. But like I've recently invested in a pair of what are they called? Johnny, what are the things called? I've lost my words, but when you're sort of wearing like a sort of child's denim thing and it has straps on it that comes all the way up. Carhartt make them. I can't remember what they're called.
Dungaree.
I've got a pair of dungarees as of the weekend, which I've never owned a pair of dungarees.
Wow, I never thought I'd see you in a pair of dungles.
Yeah. A pair of dungarees. I've got a pair of replay denim dungarees, which I think they're like Scando. They're a Scando make. Quite nice indigo denim. TK Maxx, TK to the max. TJ Maxx in the States. But I bought those in Clapham. I was in Clapham at the weekend. I went to Breadstall, which is amazing pizza. If you haven't had Breadstall pizza, it's well worth a visit to shitty Clapham that's full of loads of posh wankers. But the pizza's great, and they've got some really primo charity shops. And I went to the Clapham Picture House as well, which was also good. Do you know what, Johnny? Clapham is so posh that within the same sort of corner of a building, they have got a Shake Shack, a Five Guys, and an Honest Burger, all within the same corner of a big terrace building. That blew my mind. I thought this is almost, if I had my imaginary food blogging YouTube channel, I'd be hitting Clapham High Street to get a burger in Five Guys, Shake Shack, and Honest Burger. I like Five Guys a lot, and I recently have been enjoying the smash burger in Honest Burger. I don't really rate Shake Shack that much, so I need to give it a revisit. I think. But yeah, posh wankers. Someone said.
Yeah,
Poison Fist said about Clapham. It just infuriates me when I go there. I'm sorry I don't like Clapham, but I just think it's full of dickheads. But
I think it's only a specific kind of person that likes Clapham, and Godspeed to them.
Yeah. I had a really
But
weird night in Clapham where this is in my younger life, 20 years ago, John. I got so drunk.
Oh, don't tell this story.
I won't go there. I won't go there.
We'll save that for the Patreon only content.
I'll get cancelled if I say that.
No, it's not. It won't get cancelled.
Anyway, it's not that bad, but it wasn't.
See, this is what I'm saying. Five Guys is pricing. You're like, nah, no, it's fucking pricey.
They are super generous with the fries, Harry. They are pricey.
Dude, it's only good value if you want it.
True.
It's too many fries. Anyway, this is a problem.
You can take them home and eat the fries, or
Brad,
you get.
What do you mean, cold fries? Jesus.
Yeah, you can eat cold fries. Those fries are
You're
great.
an animal.
Peanut dip Cajun fries. They're like tip top fries, man.
You're an animal. Bradley, have you poured the next beer?
No.
Do you know what the next beer is?
Yeah, Siren.
Okay, cool. Right, so we're moving on to Siren. So this is Best Coast Scenario.
Great name. Great.
I was just while Brad was talking about burgers, I dug out the recipe because I wanted to double check where it landed again. Because this is such a different beer, even though it's still billed as a West Coast IPA. It's such a different beer to Embers, and I think probably everyone that didn't quite like Embers might love Best Coast. So there's juicy character to it. There's less chewiness to it. There's a bit more sweetness to it. There is a bit of gentle haze to it, and a very, very different hopping. So, Malt Miller, did you just ask? So they just asked the IBU. Where's the IBU on this brew sheet? Honestly, there are so many reasons why I'm not a brewer. One of them is brew sheets. IBUs. Uh, 80 calculated, so probably a bit less in reality. It's a 15.3 grams per liter dry hop, right? So to put that in context, When we did our West Coast IPA recipe with Russian River, we were at 7. So it's more than double the dry hop, which is not really the classic West Coast approach. You don't put 15 fucking grams per liter. You put 7 or 8. So this is kind of California style, I believe, is sort of the phrase. Like, not huge yeast character, loads of bitterness, very, very crisp. They didn't want any Munich character. I pushed to have a little bit in, because as far as I'm concerned, if there's not a little bit of it, it's not really a true West Coaster. It's more of a mountain style IPA. So we upped the Munich character to it, which I think really works. Bitterness after the sour, that was kind of on purpose. What I didn't want was 3 bitter beers at the finish, so we put the sour in to give this a real peppiness. But so do they say the hops on this? Because if they don't, I'd love people to guess.
I don't think they do. I was trying to read it. I couldn't.
Yeah, they don't say. So I'd love to hear. There's 4 hops. 4 hops in this beer. I'd love to hear what you think of the hops.
One of them's bonkers. It's a bonkers hop, isn't it?
Don't give it away. So yeah, let me know what you think the 4 hops are.
Little hint.
Sorry, 4 hops. Sorry, God, this is complicated. Sorry, 5 hops plus the bittering hop. Don't worry about the bittering hop. 5 hops, 4 in the dry hop, 4 in the oh my God, wait. Yeah, it's 5 hops, yeah. Tell me what you're picking up. Andrew says Talus, and he's bang on. He's bang on. Top marks to Andrew B170. That is the out there hop. Hopefully you are picking up that kind of piney, coconutty, juicy complexity.
Oof, look at this. Hang on, I can't even remember.
Right. Yeah. So, what did he say? He said, oh my God, there's so many words. Citrus Simcoe, Cascade, Amarillo. There's no Amarillo. There is Citrus Simcoe. There is another classic C hop, not Cascade, pretty much the other one. Which was in our documentary with Siren, actually. Centennial is the other one, in the dry hop and in the boil. And then the final one. Yeah, Centennial. Yeah, people are on it. No Chinook. There's one more hop, which I only picked up because I knew it was there. But now that I know it's there, it's definitely there. I'll give you a clue. It's not American. Ooh, I wish we could do like a zoom in. It's not Brew One. Brew One in the next beer. Mosaic is American, Andrew. Not Strata. Not Fuggles, Paul. Not Rawaka, but
have we invented a new sort of pub game here where we guess the hops?
Here we go. Scott's on it. Scott's on it. And a bit of Nelson in there. So Nelson was in dry hop 2. It was the biggest amount in dry hop 2, along with Citra. So it's in the kettle. It was Flex for bittering, plus Simcoe for bittering, and then Centennial and Citra Incognito, and then Centennial, Citra, Simcoe, Talus in dry hop 1, which was like a biotransformation edition, three days in, and then Centennial, Citra, Talus, Nelson, and a big old ton of Nelson going in, 3 grams per liter almost of Nelson. So it's a bonkers beer. It's a complex beer. I was pushing back, going, let's simplify the hop bill. I want to pick out the hops. Sean was like, no. And I think he was right at the end of the day. I think it's a fascinating beer. It's really complex. It's got so much going on, and it's so different to Embers, because I think they did know what we were doing with Embers, which is all C hop, like trying to make an old school beer. And I think it's great. I love it. It's come a long way. The original brief was Focal Banger. It's come a long way from that. Very different beer to that. But that was all on purpose as we started throwing too many ideas at each other. We do need to go to New Zealand. We do. And I hope it does happen. Just, yeah. Young family, a lot of work is holding us back, but it will happen. 100%.
We've got to go across the world with our respective families, I reckon.
Bring them all.
We
did say right at the start, back with Jim, when Jim was still on board. Jim was with us for a year?
Maybe, if that. Yeah.
About a year. And the original plan was we wanted to make a hobby that would take us to New Zealand to see the hop harvest. That was the original plan.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we surpassed that. You know, we could have gone to New Zealand if fate had decided. But it hasn't quite happened. But that was the original plan, and it will happen. It will happen. Maybe it'll be the last thing we ever do. Age 90, one of us just like, take me to the hop harvest of New Zealand. And it'll be like a beautiful film with lots of sunsets and sadness, but with a hop harvest. That's if we make it to 90. So yeah, Andy's asked this before, and I wanted to get to it. It's an interesting question, but I believe we'd both be doing the things we also do. Is that fair?
Yeah, I guess I'd still be doing graphic design, to be fair. I mean, I've been probably working in television more. I'm not really doing a lot of that these days, but before I did this, I used to work in TV extensively. I'd like to think I'd be, doing some more directing stuff in television at this point. But yeah, I'm a graphic designer, but also like I've never really been I guess I'm sort of an art director, but I've never had a full art director role, which is just someone who's got good taste, basically, and you just go to other people that do the stuff like, that's good, keep doing that, or don't do that, do it like this. I'd like to think I'm a sort of tastemaker type character. I've always sort of had a lot of confidence in my taste, essentially. So I like the idea of just sort of getting by just having good taste. So I haven't really had to have the chance to just do that as a career. I'd like to do that at some point. Just be a tasteful person that people go, good taste. We'll pay you for your good taste, and you could do that.
Is that a job? Is it like?
Yeah. That's a big time job. Yeah, 100%. Like I could. I mean, I know people that work in like the denim industry, and they've got great taste, and like people that just do all stuff around taste. I'd love to be just doing that and just be someone that's got impeccable taste. I'm not saying I am, but that's my aim. And I think if I wasn't doing this, I could have dedicated myself to having spectacularly good taste.
Well, I don't think you've let that go. I mean, what I get, taste is one of those words that makes it feel like it's like an innate thing. It's not. It's a learned thing, right? You have to know what else is out there, right?
I think it's innate, actually. I think just having a sense of what it's like sort of seeing harmony in the universe or something. You just know something is good or not good. I like to think I've got a little bit of that, like a little bit of magical dust sprinkled in my bonds that just tells me like you have an idea about things, whether it's a concept or how something looks, an aesthetic thing. I think taste is like a really underappreciated thing. And I think that could be applied to having a brewery or something else. Like if we were to do that, I'd like to think that we could have a very successful brewery if we were to do that, because we could combined our forces could unleash some sort of wonderful things on the world. So I think if you've got good taste, you can kind of like direct it in lots of different avenues. So my aim would be to have better taste. But I also like terrible taste as well. I've got a real appreciation for highbrow, lowbrow, as we've come to know on the channel.
Yeah, Brad often asks me, "Have you seen this TV show?" And I'm like, "People watch that?"
Yeah, just culture, just like being aware of culture. I think, just sort of like having a kind of like a notion of not even zeitgeist, because I wouldn't say I follow anything particularly, but just having a reference archive of like an understanding of humanity and culture and stuff like that. I really aspire to kind of have more of an understanding of that sort of stuff. Johnny, I've talked too much. What would you?
No, we'll come back to what I'd be doing, because I'm aware of the time, right? So we have to get onto the last beer.
We do.
So that we can do the Q&A, and also so that I can talk about my other snack.
Oh, look at that.
So this was sent to us. So the wonderful people at Serious Pigs sent us a load of snacks for the festival, but they also sent me this and said, "We'd love to hear your thoughts." My thoughts are very positive. Talking of taste, a lot of taste of this. So this was a collab between them and Thornbridge. Snack Alarmy. It's supposed to pair specifically with West Coast IPA, specifically Jaipur. I was going to do it with Embers because that's actually the better match, but I'm now going to have it with the last of my Siren while we talk about the final beer. Brad's going to have to do the talking on this beer because, as far as I can tell, I got drunk last night and drank my last can of it.
Oh my god! And Johnny, I need a wee desperately. So this is.
We gave you a convenience break.
I know, but I'm also a 41-year-old man that needs to have a piss about once an hour if I drink lots of beer, and I've been necking these big time. Can I have a wee?
Show us the can.
Oh, I'll show you the can. All right, I'll show you the can. This is the most beautiful can, other than shorts, that we've got in the lineup, I believe. Definitely not a cult. I think that's an incredible name that's come from our Discord forum, and I hope Verdant. I hope we don't have to get into a big legal dispute with Verdant where they run with that name, because it's such a good name for a beer that I think they might keep making it. But it's ours. It's ours, man. It's ours. 100%. That's an us. Is that? I don't know who started saying definitely not a cult. Who was the originator of that? I'm not sure.
It was somebody in the Discord. We'll find out. But you go.
Do you want to own up, or was it somebody else? I'm not sure.
Could have been. Could have been,
right?
Or Jasper.
Could have been Jasper.
We'll work it out. But you go pee. I'll tell the story of the beer.
Beautiful.
And then we'll come back and drink it.
In my stead.
Well, you'll drink it. I'll have to have a different beer. Right. So, so our final beer, which we will drink while we're doing the Q&A, is definitely not a cult. It's a New England IPA with Verdant. Verdant were our second ever Patreon. They are the most wonderful, creative, incredible people. For my money, they make the best New England IPA in the world. Certainly the most consistent and the most, I think, interesting approach to it. In that when they pick a hop to tell the story of a beer, it's that hop that tells it. And I don't think that should be underappreciated, particularly when the world's full of Citra Mosaic bombs. So we got in contact with them. The first brewery we locked in, the first brewery we asked when we wanted to do collabs. Originally, it was just 4 breweries for our festival. And they were the first brewery that we went to. But I asked 7 breweries if they do it, thinking half of them would say no. They all said yes. So I was like, okay, so it's 3 more to get to 10. We were always going to do a New England IPA. We did our homebrew collaboration during lockdown. And I was like, let's scale up that recipe. It was based off of Even Sharks Need Water, but replacing Galaxy with Brew One and a bit of Mosaic, because Brew One's brilliant, but it's not a complex hop. It's all pineapple. So we needed to add some juiciness kind of to it. So we literally scaled up that recipe. So this is the beer that Craft Beer Channel had the biggest hand in. This and actually probably the Siren beer were the ones where we were literally, writing or editing the brew sheets. And I'm super proud of how this beer came out, which is why I've drunk them all. Brew One is such an underrated hop. I don't understand why everyone isn't using it, because the biggest criticism people have of New England IPA is that it all tastes the same. And that's because we're all using the same hops. If we used different hops, it wouldn't taste the same. Brew One tastes of pineapple cubes. And nobody's using it to add like beautiful acidity and freshness to their New England IPAs. And they all should be, because it's stunning. I think it's stunning with Citra Mosaic, both of which are very much sticky, dank, overripe fruit kind of character in New England IPA. And Brew One, I think, really lifts this beer. So that was the idea behind it. That was the idea behind the recipe when we did it on homebrew and a bigger scale. And I think it's come off really, really well. And I also, part of the brew sheet was just giving it a bit more bitterness than most of the Verdant IPAs have. A, because that's personal taste on my count, but B, because I think that adding that freshness of the pineapple, you add some bitterness, you can make it feel much more crisp. Malt Miller just come in with a great. So lager, maybe. The first time I tried Brew One was when I was working in beer distribution for Cave Direct, and we used to import Lervig, and they released House Party, which would have been 2017-ish. They made great pastry stout. Thank you, Brad. And they released House Party, which is like going to be their core pale ale. It was a 4% pale ale. The idea was that it would be like their core beer in the UK, and we'd get it into lots of pubs. And they loaded it with Brew One, and the first batch was incredible. It must have been like a brand new, fresh batch of Brew One, and it just smelt of pineapple. And I was like, "What is this hop?" And it smelt incredible. So I've been in love with that hop ever since. So Golden Ales, 4% pale ale, session beers with Brew One, when there's not so much complexity that you can't pick up on that lovely pineapple, it just fucking flies. And I really hope that everybody drinking it right now, all 100 of you, are getting pineapple cubes, like granny, like dried pineapple vibes, because I think I love it. And I think you'll love it.
So, like, pineapple, there's a classic sort of 1970s British party food, which is like a pineapple hedgehog, isn't it? With pineapple and cheese in it, like on little skewers. I think this is probably. I mean, I'm not a huge pineapple guy, although I do very much enjoy a lilt, which they've rebranded as fucking sun-kissed pineapple or some bollocks. I don't know what it's called now, but I think I'm not a Hawaiian pizza fan either, Johnny, but I love a ham pizza. Ham pizza with this bad boy. The bitterness from this, the umami, cheesy vibes from a ham pizza. That's a beautiful combo right there. What are you drinking instead?
So I am going to be drinking Short Shorts, which is another collab we did for the party. They're my local brewery, which is not the only reason I picked them. It's because they make incredible beer. And this has Brad obviously semi-naked on the back. But it's a Strata Simcoe pale. So my brief and the recipe that we worked on was basically a dank, sticky version of Pressure Drop Pale Fire. And in terms of nailing the brief, anybody that had it at the festival, I think Jack fucking nailed that. Dank, sticky, pale fire is where it landed. Pale fire is, I think, Citra Mosaic. Much lower wheat, no oat content, but this beer, what hops did I say? Strata Simcoe is what I should have said. I think that's what I said. Strata Simcoe. So it's passion fruit and weed with whatever Simcoe is, which depends on the batch. But it's my after the beet beer, it's my favorite. I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant, and you should all buy Baron beer because he makes incredible stuff and is a lovely human and does great artwork as well, like really individual, unusual artwork. He's everything that's great about microbreweries. So we've had a question about the can art. So from Halo to Grant, can you talk about the can art and how is it designed? So, I mean, I guess we gave a brief on that as well. Basically, it was like, this is the vibe we'd really want. You didn't design any of the labels, but
no, 100% not. But it's nice to sort of think about either people knowing the sort of things we're into, or us going along and going like with on the Pollo, like Brad's Breakfast, which is obviously a silly idea. And then short shorts, which are inspired by my love of silly short shorts. Basically, there's some silliness from me, and then there's lots of very sensible amazingness from Johnny. Hi
to Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, so let's be real for a moment. It was so we were organizing it. So Craft Beer Channel, in case you didn't realize, is still just me and Brad. We have a guy that we occasionally get to do some film, like camera work for us, and we have an accountant. That's it. So originally, this was going to be a tap takeover in a pub with 4 collaboration brews and some other stuff we liked. It snowballed into 10 collaboration brews where we made a film, all of them, except for the one where we'd already brewed a year ago with Now IPA. And a festival where 366 people came at the same time as Brad having other work that he does, me having a book I was writing, life happening. So it would be really nice if we could have done some more sort of creative work, like more naming work, more label work with these breweries, as well as working on the recipes and making films. So we fell short, I guess, in some ways of what we originally planned, but also went a lot further than what we planned in many ways as well.
You're being harsh to yourself, Johnny. We were very much involved, and I think every brewery we've collaborated with, like I consider them friends, and they know us. They've watched our silly videos, and they understand what it is we do. And this is like they're true collaborations, even if we weren't as involved as you would have liked to be hands-on. Mentally, like we are linked to all of these beers massively, and I think it's a testament to the 10 years of graft you've put in, we've put in, but mostly you've worked very, very hard, Johnny. Very, very hard. The most awarded man in beer at this point, I think. I mean, I'm just a silly sod, but Johnny is a legit journalist here. And like legitimately an amazing like mind when it comes to understanding beer. I'm here for the experience and like doing something with a very good friend, which has made my life infinitely better. But I think Johnny has really excelled and like grown into this role as a beer fluencer or whatever we might call it. He's a notary. He's like a legit dude in the beer world now. I'm so proud of you, man. I'm really proud of you. Please don't knock, our sort of achievement here. 10 years, 10 beers. These are all wonderful things that we've worked very hard on. It would have been nice to be like more hands-on with some of them, but it's what a fucking amazing achievement, man. I never thought we would have been here. So good.
I love everything you said. I didn't mean to come across as like denigrating anything that we've done. I guess. I mean, I'm
Right down, Johnny.
hugely.
You've done plenty. This is it. Don't be too harsh on yourself.
I'm
This is
hugely
a
critical
night
of
to
myself. I'm also
celebrate.
hugely critical of our work, which must be incredibly frustrating for you as well.
No, it's good. It's good. Look, we balance each other out with the yin and yang, as someone said. And I think we are a winning combo together. We've done great things, man. And like, we're 10 years in. Who knows 10 years from now where we will be? We might have founded an amazing brewery. We might be international TV.
Brad knows my feelings on ever owning a brewery.
we're both gonna have like sort of turkey teeth. We're gonna be on television with our beautiful teeth, and we're gonna like be hench and like got to keep fit sort of vibes going on, like sort of made in Chelsea. The only way is Essex kind of things. We're gonna turn very TV, Johnny, is what I'm saying.
Oh, that's the plan.
If we get into television, it could still happen. Like, we've had so many. It's like fishing, right? You sort of, you're watching the little bob around, and you're like, oh, I've got a bite on the line. I've got a bite on the line, Johnny. Bite on the line. Can
we just flag this joyous typo here? It's not yin to the yang, it's the king to the yang.
Oh, that's nice. I love that. Thank you.
Yes. Brett, thanks for saying everything you did. I didn't mean to denigrate what we've achieved. It's incredible, both the channel and the festival. I just guess on a visual level. I mean, when people are asking like what do you want the label to be, and I was like, you know what, just do you, because we work with these breweries because everything they do is beautiful.
That's why we've worked with these people, because we love them.
Yeah, and they make beautiful stuff, know, and we came up with a lot of the names or our forums did. It's a collaborative effort, not just between me and Brad, but between our Patreon forum, between our viewers and the comment section. And I think, I tried in that video that I put together for the intro, I tried to get that across, because we literally wouldn't be what we are without all the content that comes back our way. Every time we put a video out, we get thousands of words back of like ideas, criticisms, compliments, pure nonsense that's joyful, So yeah, I really didn't want to come across negative. It's just somebody asked about the design, and I was like, we didn't do any of the designs, but I wish we had. Was essentially the only negative thing I wanted to say in that moment. But it prompted you to say very nice things about me, so I don't regret it for a second.
I don't know who's Catwoman. I don't mind being Catwoman. It's
clearly you.
Box. Oh, it's clearly me, is it? All right,
much sexier. Got a super chat. Thank you so much. Halo to Grunt. Green onions in every Verdant beer.
Eat some pickled onion monster munch alongside it.
I'll take it away. I mean, we're all sensitive to different things, right? And I've always I am super sensitive to phenolic, boozy stuff. Like that ruins beers for me in a second. And I know that Brad is the opposite. You're not at all phenolic, but you are very very sensitive to particularly I think like Brettanomyces and lactic and acetic stuff. Like you taste sourness and funkiness much more than I do. I
think I've got genuinely quite a bad palate.
No.
But it's sensitive in different angles. Like to give you like a sort of like insight into my life, I love vinegar, and like I'll just like put balsamic or malt on anything that I'm eating because I just love acidity.
But I think when you're super sensitive to something, it cuts both ways. Either you cannot stand it, or you kind of need it and expect it and want it. And what I would say is that nobody has a bad palate. right?
Mm.
And it's something I haven't really said on the channel enough. Nobody has a bad palate. There's no such thing as a good and a bad palate. There's people with exceptional palates. I don't think I am one. I don't think Brad is one. There probably isn't one in the audience. They're pretty rare. Everybody has a very similar, broadly a similar palate with different sensitivities. It's the language that we have to our disposal that makes the difference between whether we can talk about beer or food or wine. It's the experience. It's having tasted all the flavors you'd expect to get. It's just knowing what you're tasting. Everybody tastes the same thing. It's knowing what it is that's the challenge, and you can train that. You know, it's not what's good or bad about your palate. It's what's good or bad about your words that you can use, and you can literally train that. It's like a language. So please, I never want Brad. I never want you to say you have a bad palate. I never want anybody in the comments to say they have a bad palate. They just don't have the words for it, and they can find the words. Definitely find the words. Anyway, right, it's 10 o'clock. Okay, we said this was going to finish at 9:30, so shit's gone wrong. We are going to do the Q&A now. I know there have been so many questions have come through that we haven't managed to get to. So please, now is your time. We will spend 15, 20 seconds on each question. But if we've missed one, ask it now, and we will get to it. Otherwise, we will keep chatting about what we've been chatting through, and I will have a quick look and see if there have been any recent questions. How about a black and tan yin and yang collab? So I do a lager, you do a Cascadian dark ale, and we blend it. Johnny, do you find yourself trying out interesting and unusual fruit in the supermarket? Yes. Do you know what? Having one of the few ways that having a kid has really helped my beer career has been that we buy her lots of different fruits, like dried, tin, fresh, all kinds of different things for her to try, to see what she likes, to make sure that she doesn't turn her nose up at different things. So I've been trying lots of different fruits. I have fucking fallen in love with mango. Mango season in the UK, obviously it's not UK mango, it's when it comes over. Like mid to late summer, mango is 10 times as good in the UK. Don't know if you know that. Just summer, late summer mango, eat it all. It is a different game. So yeah, I do that, and I try to do that. You know, we talk about lychee and all kinds of stuff that you don't eat that usually, and beer has made me eat that. Which brewery has your favorite can art?
Omnipollo, no doubt.
I would say Omnipollo for their, like, I think some of the best cans and bottles that have ever been made are Omnipollo, but I would say that from a branding perspective, so to be a bit more cynical, a bit more like recognizable, you know, a beet can the second you clock it.
Oh,
I think it's very
if we're talking, yeah, sorry, Omnipollo, but also Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, iconic logo. Like the opposite of Beak. It's like,
yeah,
it's not like you keep changing, but we know it's like you are the same, and it's so powerful.
Brooklyn, Budweiser. You remain silent, but Budweiser's got incredible.
I mean, it's one of the most beautiful. Like it's like Coca-Cola. Yeah. It's like it's untouchable.
It is like literally in the same realms as Coca-Cola, which for me as a graphic designer, I'm like, it doesn't matter that the beer's like poopy water, but like, you know, the branding is beautiful, and it's all time amazing. It's all time, man. It's so good. It's so good. I've got in fact, I think I bought at the weekend. Hang on, let me just go and get something, Johnny.
I can answer this one real quick. Yes. It is literally the next thing I'm asking Brad to do, and it will come in child sizes. Bear with.
So I got this at a boot sale at the weekend, Johnny.
Oh my god!
You know, I don't know if I'm ever going to wear this, but I was like, I'm not going to leave a Budweiser bucket hat.
Jesus!
For like £1 at a boot sale. It's such good branding. Is it
good quality? Is it good quality merch, or is it trash?
Yeah, no, it's pretty
nylon.
Good, no, it's all right. It's actually quite nicely made. It's not as good as I've got a Coca-Cola bucket hat somewhere, which is amazingly well made. I think it's made by Herschel, who make backpacks and stuff. Very nice. Coca-Cola used to have a concept store in Covent Garden in London, which I went to and bought all of their patches from around the world. They've got like Coca-Cola written in fucking maybe not Sanskrit, I don't know what it is. Like Chinese, Japanese, Indian, like all these different like amazing patches from around the world, like Coca-Cola. Like I've got loads of different Coca-Cola patches in the Coca-Cola. It's called like Life Store or something. And I just bought loads of them. I nearly bought myself a Coca-Cola Wrangler like hand embroidered jacket or something, but it was like too expensive, and I would have looked like what's his name out of Dumb and Dumber, like a total dickhead. But I really love great branding. But yeah, Brooklyn's way up there, which is why I've got, we've got the Milton Glaser homage t-shirt, which I spent a long time creating, which is on our Teespring. I know we're all about Malt Miller now, but you can get some other stuff on our Teespring, which
And if it sells well, we'll convert it over to Malt Miller. So if you want
exactly.
it, let us
like,
know.
we haven't like a lot of like some of these designs we haven't like actually got like legit printed. They're print on demand stuff on Teespring. But yeah, the Milton Glaze one I love. Sorry, where were you going next, Johnny?
Yeah, sorry. Well, so firstly, I just want to say, while you and me were having a little moment, so many other wonderful comments have come through from lots of lovely people, and I apologize we missed all of this. But I will go back through and read all of this. None of this is being lost lost on us.
It's bad.
No, keep wearing it. Keep wearing it. Yes, Andy. Yes, it is very good. Brewery you've been saddest to see closed?
Anchor.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. I mean, thing is, from a philosophical point of view, yes, but it didn't affect us because Anchor never really came to the UK that much.
It hurt me the most because I've been there and it was one of my gateway beers. And also, it hasn't closed, but Lagunitas for me as well. Like, that feels like it's closed because it's not the same thing anymore. But like,
yeah, when it's Heineken,
I'm big in love with Lagunitas. Part of my beer lore is like Lagunitas, Racer 5, Anchor, all these things, like Sierra, all those sort of things are like, that is the stuff that made me who I am.
Mm-hmm.
It hurts.
I feel your pain.
In fact, I'm gonna get something else. Let me get something else, Johnny.
God, what's here? You need to go to the Southampton Arms. You need to go to the Harp. You need to go to those two will probably cover you. Pembury, if you love modern pizza with your cask. The Hope in Carshalton, but I'm assuming if you're not London based, you won't go to Carshalton. I mean, the comments can help you out as well, but those are my two. Right, yeah, there's
corporate shill fest.
There's your frisbee.
This is a regulation. I think it's
Ultimate
a league
frisbee.
Ultimate frisbee. It's actually really small and heavy for a frisbee, but it's ultimate frisbee.
Right, Brad,
$17.
Brad, we've got to keep moving. We can't go over the price of your fucking frisbee. Jesus. Yes, we did it in our blind taste test a couple of months ago. If you go back and search for Beer Geek, Beer Expert tries bad American Macro or something, it will come up. For me, it is Creek and Goat's Cheese. For you, it's probably Monster Munch and Orval.
Yeah, Pickled Onion, Monster Munch, yeah. And Orval, yeah.
Any upcoming breweries in the UK that are on your radar for great beer? Since Baron, which was I discovered just over a year ago, probably Little Monsters making great beer. Holy Goat have been around but have really hit their stride for mixed fermentation. And Two Flints out of basically Winchester, incredible beer. Those would be my three.
The other one. So those were the three that won the Raise the Bar that I judged and then presented at all of We Are Beers festivals. The other one was Sure Shot, former head brewer of Manchester, of Cloudwater in Manchester. We knew they'd be great.
Phantom. Someone just said Phantom. I agree
Phantom,
with that.
also fantastic beer. Yes, true.
Flock. I like Flock as well.
Well, Flock have been around for a long time, but they've
I
just
guess they've been around for
really improved because they got the old head brewer of Howling Hops and are making very good beer.
Yeah.
Most memorable beer event you guys have gone to in the last 10 years?
Rate Beer Best Festival.
Long dead, but
No,
great
that was
event.
pretty memorable. I think that was great when we went out there.
It was amazing. Yeah. It was a great idea. So it used to bring the 100 best rate beer breweries together to one place. That was amazing. I would say the Czech Hop Harvest in Pilsen was incredible. Indie Man Beer Con, just as a location to drink beer, is incredible, and they always get a great beer list. I haven't been in many years now.
What about the home brewing festival in the Arctic Circle that they invented for us in Mojon?
Well, I'm not sure people could go to that, but that was incredible.
That was amazing.
Homebrew festivals are always great, and there's always great beer. Never be worried about the quality of beer at a homebrew festival. There'll always be terribleness, but there'll always be.
There's like a movie in that, Johnny. Like, I think that has maybe flown under the radar. I don't know how much we talked about that, but when we went to home brewing in the Arctic Circle, I think the video was called maybe something along those lines. They're a home brewing like aficionados up in Mojon, but they basically invented this whole festival to get us to come out. I'm really jealous of that. This homebrew festival to get us to come out there and like make a film about it. And we met such incredible people while we were there. And they only let us know that it wasn't like a legit festival that they do every year after we'd gone, pretty much. Or we went back another year. And I think they let us into the secret. But we got like 3 aeroplanes out there. They got progressively smaller and smaller till we were on like, I want to say a single prop aeroplane, but I think it was 2 propellers. Pretty sketchy runway into Mojon. And, we met Espen, who was, a couple of Espens who are both amazing people. One of them tried to poison us with some fucking...
He knew what he was doing.
But, like, honestly, like, the Artist Mark, the, like, food festival they have, the Arctic food festival is, like, wild. We met, like, amazing chefs and all kinds of, like, it's, like, people that love produce. I think it's...
Brad, your 20-second rule on these questions is just so way out of whack.
Oof. Go on, then. Sorry.
Go to Mojon.
That was good. Mojon
was
good.
Ian McAlpine. One ambition for the next 10 years. What would it be? Hit me.
Get a TV show. Where we travel. We go and travel. We're like diners and drive-ins, but we travel around and we meet the local characters and enjoy the sort of beer scene and the kind of creative and food scenes in different parts of the world. I think that would be amazing.
Mine would be that, but do it on YouTube.
We could do it on YouTube.
Have a million subs.
We just need to get some strong partners to help us.
Yeah. Which brewery's been your favorite can art?
I thought we did that one, eh?
We didn't do the super chat
out
version.
Out of this lot.
Possibly. We'll have to check with Scott.
Well, Baron, because I'm on the can and I love the fact it's called Short Shorts. And I'm not a vain person, but I do like the idea that somebody's drawn me. I find that massively entertaining. There's a guy called Mr. Bingo who's quite a famous illustrator now, who I've been sort of knocking about the same circles with him for years. And years ago, there was a thing called Art Car Boot Sale where you could... what's that? See, Flints.
Sorry, I said Winchester, not Windsor. Sorry.
Oh, dear.
Just confused my W's.
Mr. Bingo, he drew me at a thing at an art event, and then he wrote under. I had like long hair and a big beard at the time, and he wrote. It's pretty good likeness of me, and he wrote underneath it "shit Jesus," which I thought was quite good. So I got that framed at home.
Should have been drunk, Jesus.
Drunk, yeah, I wasn't drunk, but I was.
Stephen Thompson, what's your beer guilty pleasure? I agree. There's no such thing, but also I understand what you mean. That would cause the most in the comment section. So yours is Guinness, right, Brad? That's top 5 beers for you.
Sorry, what's that? What is your beer guilty pleasure? Yeah, Guinness, probably. Yeah, Guinness. I haven't had a Lagunitas in a while. I reckon I'd still enjoy a Lagunitas, just for the memories.
I guess the closest I get is probably Camden Hells. I think it's a great fucking beer.
I've never rated Camden Hells that highly, but I know you absolutely love it.
Yeah, I love it. And it's partly nostalgia because I used to live right around the corner of the brewery when everything was exciting.
I think that's what it is, right?
I also think it's a pretty great beer.
It's solid. It's definitely pretty solid. I've never had a bad one.
Where are we? Thoughts on Bruiser? So we've done sponsored content with Bruiser, so that up front. But I think what I really like about Bruiser is it takes the anxiety of choice away. It's like this brewery, let's see what they've got. You know, it's nice that we could go, hey, Baron are great, and you could go on there and go, well, I'll get the next Baron box. You know, it takes away the decision anxiety, which is a big thing in craft beer, and decision anxiety makes you choose the same things again and again. So that's super cool, and it's well priced. And I love the fact that you pay the same amount and you get what it's worth, you know? So you could get 4 bottles from Holy Goat, or you could get 12 cans from someone else. So I think it's a cool system. As with all subscription boxes, what it means is once you know enough about beer or certain breweries or what you like, you'll move away from it. But I think Bruce is pretty cool. Okay, I feel like I've missed some things. So if we've missed them, please send us them again while we wrap up, and we will get to them. Because I really don't want. That's not a question.
Yeah, what's your street beer, Johnny?
What's my street beer? Well, where I live now, it's going to be this.
That's not widely available. Is that what you can? Okay, all right.
Well, where I am, it's pretty widely available.
Right. Mine's.
I don't know about where you are.
Augustina is my street beer. That's widely known.
We know it. That's why they asked.
Yeah,
that's why they asked. They want to hear you go Augustina. Augustina is not my favorite bottled Munich lager.
I like it. It's good. I'm a fan.
We're just naming beers and asking.
I don't know what that means, but I like it. That's not a street beer though. I wouldn't drink out of a bottle. I don't think.
I mean,
I'd happily drink a lovely cask pint of Fuller's London Pride.
My views on bitters, great bitters in bottle is widely known. I think we shouldn't be drinking. We should because it's the closest we can get. But I think they're shit. They're all designed for cask and they're best enjoyed in cask. Bottle bitters are generally disappointing for me.
Best pint of Guinness in London. I mean, I'm like, I would say Dog and Bell in Deptford. Maybe the Marquis of Gransby in New Cross, just because I'm usually pissed if I go in there. And they've got a jukebox and a pool table and a round bar, and it's dirty, but I like it. And I like, I guess, the Toucan in Soho, but that's very cliched. Yeah, that's very cliched.
I've seen a comment that says, "My Hass is out." Great question, but I can't. Oh, here we go. Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's the same. It's that question. There's a great question here. There we go. Biggest surprise in Tony's at CBC. I've got 2. One is Florida.
Yeah, it's good. I thought it was shit, but
Well,
it's actually
that
great.
small area, like Tampa Bay,
The Panhandle.
has incredible beer, but also plenty of culture
Yeah.
and good food.
Shocking.
Just Tampa, Clearwater, St. Pete's, fucking cool places.
Isn't it amazing to go somewhere? I think we were like, that is one of the only times we've gone somewhere with a tourist board, and our expectations have been absolutely blown away. We don't go to places with tourist boards. Normally, it's funded by Patreon and just people watching videos and all that sort of shit. But we actually got a bit of sponsorship to go out there. They flew us out there, put us up in some nice hotels and motels, and we weren't really expecting a lot. But do you know what? It was absolutely incredible, to the point where you were going to go there for your honeymoon, right?
That was going to be my honeymoon. So my wife is like Disney super fan, so we were going to do Orlando and then go to St. Pete's.
Yeah,
we thought it was brilliant, like Shoreditch on Sea, but without like the snarkiness. It was just like beautiful art, beautiful food, beautiful beer, lovely vibe, crystal clear, warm seas, just fucking paradise as far as I was concerned.
I'm not sure we can call it Shoreditch on Sea because it wasn't that cool. But Shoreditch isn't that cool anymore either. But like, in terms
So I
of
forgot I was talking to a tastemaker.
Well, in terms of when Shoreditch was the sort of cultural hub of the universe 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't that.
Wasn't that cool.
Yeah.
But it was surprisingly cool because, like, we sort of went across being, I think, like a prejudiced opinion of Florida man, kind of like, it's fucking Disney and a load of bollocks and the Everglades and whatever and all that stuff. But actually, amazing culture, amazing breweries, like legit, like incredible beer destinations. Scenery was incredible. Like I love to be overwhelmed by somewhere I go. You know, you kind of go with minimum expectations and you get blown away. And that's amazing. That's like St. Bernardus. That was like the thing recently when I went there and I was like, oh, St. Bernardus, fucking awesome beer. But I was not expecting the tour de force that was St. Bernardus. You know, and like when you go to these places that are like just like out of the realms of reality, cool and incredibly overly good, like way over expectations. It's always incredible. St. Pete's, Clearwater, St. Bernardus, all these places are like wonderful.
And I think just the Czech Republic generally. If everybody said like, I want to go on a beer trip, where should I go? I would say the Czech Republic or certain parts of America, like West Coast of America. Like the Czech Republic is insane. But we cannot dwell. What would I be doing if CBC didn't happen? I would probably still, I would have stayed at Jamie Oliver. And I would have still edited the website. Whether I'd have survived when things went wrong at JO Towers, I don't know. I'd have been writing about food and enjoying beer. I really don't know. You know, it's a genuine like sliding doors moment in my life because I would say I'm now a book author and filmmaker, and neither of those things would have happened without craft beer channels. So I have no idea.
Thing. Sometimes, Johnny, you sort of reach crossroads in life where you're like, my life's pretty good, and I'm working for someone amazing. But you can take a back seat to somebody else. But like we both hit this crossroads at a point where there was an interjection in something that happened to a celebrity when he didn't go bankrupt, but like some bad shit happened to him financially. And we were both kind of forced into different situations. And something like amazing creative came out of it, out of a hardship. You know, I say hardship with a very light, air quotes, hardship. But we had something happen to us where, you know, we were like, oh, I've got quite a cushy life. Like, you know, you look from the outside and like, you're doing quite good. You're like, you know, working for this guy. But then it kind of like, you know, rocked the apple cart. Something happened and it forced us to evolve to kind of grow in a way that I think potentially we might not have grown if everything was rosy in JO Town, and that was like quite an amazing opportunity. It's only with hindsight you look back at things and you think, well, like you just said, you would have been a web editor or whatever. Now you're a
web editor or web
you're like an award-winning journalist and like award-winning filmmaker. Amazing.
Yeah. Whatever it was, it wouldn't have been as cool as this. That is for fucking sure.
Yeah.
Right. We have run out of time. We've got to call it quits. Thank you so much for all the lovely comments. I cannot, like I said in the video at the start, we can't thank you enough. We don't know how to do that because none of what we did would have been possible without the Patreon and without the advertising revenue that funded the first documentary, which funded the whole reputation that we have. It was the first big award we won. It was everything that came after it. So the 102 of you watching it right now, we can't thank you enough. It's fucking wild. And it's very weird to know exactly who's responsible for where you are. And so all we can say is thank you so much for being part of this, for still being with us, for supporting what we do through the good videos, the bad videos, the good moments, the bad, we take a very political, persuasive point, and all of you have been with us on that as well, and we really appreciate that. And it's just been a wild time, a wild career we never thought would happen, and I cannot express my gratitude. It's weird to have your paycheck partly paid for by people you've never met, who you might never meet, entirely based on how much they enjoy your videos. And the fact you stuck with us means everything in the world.
And I think, that's why doing Love and Beer and hopefully our next thing in November is a great opportunity to hang out with everyone who can make it in person. But we are obviously acutely aware that it's mad, but we've got people around the world that actually like us and are interested in what we've got to say on the subject matter that we've chosen to discuss. That's wild, totally wild. And I just feel lucky every day. I feel lucky to be alive, to be honest. I feel lucky that I've met Johnny. I feel lucky that I can drink beer and not have a problem with it, because I know for a lot of people, drinking can be an issue, and we're acutely aware of that as well. We always sort of kind of champion drinking responsibly, and I think that's really important 10 years in to know that hopefully we haven't caused any more bad stuff in the world. We're trying to champion sort of drinking responsibly, having a good time, and just sort of communicating more, because we don't, I think as a sort of species, we don't communicate enough. And as I said earlier, the wondrous sort of nature of having a joint interest can mean that you can sort of commune over something together. And that, I think, I'm not a religious person, but I think if you can have a faith in something, a kind of a leaning towards something that you really love and enjoy, an interest in anything, that's a wonderful thing in life. It makes life worthwhile, to sort of feel like you've got a community. And for me, that community has come together over YouTube, and I'm amazed on a daily basis whenever I wake up in the morning that somebody around the world cares about me. I'm just some dude from Catford, and
wearing a Budweiser bucket hat.
Yeah, without the Budweiser bucket hat, still
just a dude from Catford.
Some guy, this is amazing to think that, I love the idea that we can reach out across the time and space continuum. ether or whatever you want to call it, and like to have a genuine connection with other people around the world. I think it's beautiful. I'm literally still here because of this. That sounds a bit dramatic or whatever, but like I was gonna like top myself years ago if I hadn't have done this. So I'm so grateful to Johnny. I'm so grateful to still be here. I don't feel like that anymore. I love life, and I love the fact that I'm on this path. It's insane that I'm here. You know, I just feel so lucky to be here, and I don't want to sort of like dwell on that, but I want to make it clear to anyone that you are loved, and that there is kind of love in the world and an opportunity to have a community and feel loved in a place. Brad Weiser, I like that. I don't think I'm particularly a wise person, but love and beer is what we've come to say. And I honestly, I think Johnny coined that phrase, but it is absolutely perfect for everything we do. And I love Johnny. I love you guys out there. And I feel so lucky to be on this path. And we're 10 years in. I don't know where we're going to be next year, but I'm so happy to be here with you lot. Thank you, the 100 and whoever many people are watching this right now. I love you.
I couldn't have put it better. I love you, Brad. I love everybody out there for all the support, friendship, and content that they've sent our way as well. It's a special thing we've built, and if and when this ends, that's what we'll remember. It's the people and the places, the comments and the live shows that we'll remember. So thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you so much for literally being part of this video. We have no intention of stopping, so we will see you again very soon. We've got videos coming for weeks and weeks and weeks of all of the joyful stuff we've done as part of our 10-year anniversary. But there won't be a live show for a couple of months. So this is the last one for a little while. So thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you so much for all of your comments. We love you so much. And all that I have to say is love and beer. Love
beer.
And beer.